Neo's got the mic, he's taking charge. Carl's geeking out, his knowledge large. Ryan's dropping facts like a game pro. On Party Chat, we'll steal the show. Plug in your headphones, feel the beat. Talking games with passion can't be beat. From launch parties to quests untold, Party Chat's the place to be, we're bold.
Favorite games of all time, pixelated worlds and icy climes, controllers and joysticks we adore. Level ups with us, there's so much more. Plug in your headphones, feel the beat. Talking games with passion can't be beat. From launch parties to quests untold, Party Chat's the place to be, we're bold.
Well, hello everyone. Happy Tuesday evening and welcome to another episode of Party Chat that almost got canceled, but we're here and we're live because last second, literally about 30 minutes ago, both my co-hosts were like, hey, I can't make it tonight. And I was like, do I cancel or do I not? I was like, let me throw out a couple of invites to some friends and see if they can join me. And we got a couple guest hosts in addition to our special guest. But we're doing it live, so this could be a little bit off the cuff. But let's go ahead and bring everyone in here and say hello. First off, we'll bring Melee K. What's up? Good to see you.
Oh, hello, nice to see you. It's been a while, but I'm excited to fumble all of these answers because I don't even know the questions. You sent them to me like 20 or 30 minutes ago, and I was like, I need to run. I need to get here, so we'll see. We'll see what I come up with.
Well, either way, I'm glad you could drop in basically unannounced. So thanks for making tonight still happen.
Of course. It's always fun hanging out with you, man.
And the other fill-in host, got my buddy Nightmare. Good evening, Nightmare.
How's it going, guys?
Thanks for dropping in and helping make tonight happen as well, last minute.
Of course.
And our guest of honor for tonight, the only one besides myself who had time to prepare their answers, our guest of honor tonight, Nerd Takes. Welcome back. It has been too long. Good to have you back on an episode of Party Chat.
Hello. Good to be here. I appreciate it. I'm glad you guys were able to fill in as hosts so we could keep the show going.
Yes. So, as I was mentioning backstage that it's been a while since Nerd Take's been on. So when I was looking through guests to see who to have on the next one, I was like, let's go back to someone who hasn't been on for a while. Nerd Takes was on in July of 2024. So it's been a while. He's been on a number of top 5 since then, but this is the first time back on Party Chat. So always good chatting with you, and glad you're here tonight. We could round out a panel with 4 people as usual.
Yeah, likewise, my friend.
So, all right. Well, before we get into our topics, and this might also give you all a chance to maybe read through the topics while the others are chatting. But before we get into the topics, I always like to go around the horn and give everyone a chance to talk about anything they've been playing lately. So, Nerd Takes, what's something you've been playing lately?
So for me, honestly, the past week has been consumed by Pokemon. Between Fire Red and Leaf Green making their way over to the Switch, as well as Pokopia, which I'm having a blast with. I'm going to be honest with you. I think the game's a lot of fun. It's kind of been a lot of that when I've had the few minutes to play. I've been a little bit busy, so I haven't played too much of either. But honestly, I've already sunk a couple hours into each game, so enough to say that I'm having fun with them both.
For Leaf Green and Fire Red, I'm assuming you probably played those back in the day, right?
So actually, no. So I have played Red and Blue. Obviously, we got Blue here in the US. I've played both Red and Blue countless times, and I've played Yellow. I played through Yellow once, way back in the days as a kid. But when Fire Red and Leaf Green came out, I kind of was on a little bit of a hiatus from Pokemon, just, getting a little bit older. I think I was reaching teenage years where I was just falling out of Pokemon for a little bit. So I never played Leaf Green or Fire Red.
Okay, so
but then later on, like I've played, what was it? What was the one they did for Switch a few years back with Eevee and Pikachu? That was like a
Let's go Eevee, let's go Pikachu.
Oh, exactly. That would be it. That kind of redone version of Red and Blue again. So like I've played almost every version of the original Red and Blue except Fire Red and Leaf Green. So I'm kind of actually really happy to be able to get a chance to play it.
Okay. And what are your early impressions of Pokopia?
I really like it. To be honest with you, I was somebody who was super into it when I first saw the trailer. I know it got a ton of kind of mixed reviews and a bit of backlash of people not really caring for the look of it, not thinking it might be worth the price and all that. And I mean, that kind of stuff's subjective. Like I can never tell you something's worth a price. It's only worth it to me if I decide to pay it and play it.
Right.
But in my opinion, like so far, am I happy with what I paid for? Yeah, for sure. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I think it's got a lot more to it than even I expected as somebody who was interested in it right from the reveal trailer. So yeah, I mean, no complaints so far. I mean, few things I kind of don't love, but they're little kind of things to pick at. Like for example, yeah, like there's little things like the watering mechanic. It's a little slow, and I get a little aggravated with watering all this land as the Squirtle thing because it's just like it's just too slow. You essentially have like you'll see it when you see some gameplay, but it's a very small range that like each spray of water will kind of replenish.
Okay.
Like that gets annoying, and some of those mechanics are a little annoying. You're like, God, I wish this was a little bit faster. Like the punching blocks is super fast. You can rip through blocks if you're punching them down. And I just wish some of the other things worked a little bit quicker like that. But outside of that, I mean, it's, it's a small complaint that portion of it gets a bit tedious. But otherwise, again, I'm really enjoying it. It's a lot of fun. If you style of game, you got to be into the cozy life and farm simulator type of thing. If it's not your cup of tea, then of course you're not going to like it.
It's kind of like Pokemon Animal Crossing, right?
Yeah, a lot like that. I know a lot of people have compared it to Dragon Quest Builders 2. That's just not a game I've played personally, so I can't, but I do see the resemblance in it. It's very obvious if you just look at the two games. But I would say it's kind of Pokemon meets Animal Crossing, a little bit of Minecraft, and one of my favorite kind of games like this, a little bit of Viva Pinata too. I like the idea of attracting things to your area versus like, catching them like you would in say Pal World or, Pokemon, even though, Pokemon hasn't really had that crafting and, base building type idea to it yet, at least that I can think of. So yeah, it's a little bit of a mix of all that. And that little hint of Viva Pinata was something that really stood out to me. Like, oh, that's cool. I haven't had that since the Viva Pinata days. So yeah, no, it's cool. It's very familiar in a lot of ways, but also something new for Pokemon, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, it's that genre of Harvest Moon,
Stardew
Animal
Valley.
Crossing.
Yep, that's another one. Stardew Valley,
are
that whole kind of deal.
Definitely not my cup of tea. So
yeah, fair enough. Well, ironically enough, or coincidentally enough, however you want to look at it, Pal World actually has one coming out as well. So they continue. I did a video on it a few months, actually probably a month ago now at this point. They continue to kind of match footsteps, the two companies, which I just find to be one of the more hilarious things in gaming at the moment, especially because it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot Nintendo can do about it. But they have their own version of a similar thing called Pal Farm coming out, I think, some point this year. I don't know exactly.
So that's actually a separate game, not just like a new mode?
Yep, same concept. Separate game in the world of Pal World or in the whole like IP of it, as far as I understand, because they are releasing the full version of Pal World this year, I believe, as well. But Pal Farm is again like this, a separate
early access. I didn't realize.
Yeah, still so. But yeah, they got that coming out too. And they also have a trading card game coming out this year. So again, those side-by-side steps just continue to get funnier and funnier to me.
All right. What about you, Nightmare? What have you been playing lately?
So, well, since you mentioned Pokemon, I will say, I think Kay was asking if she should play Pokopia or ZA, and she went with Pokopia. The ZA is the only only Pokemon game I've played in a very long time, and I actually really liked it, which makes sense because everybody hated it. So, that's my taste in games seems to be what everyone seems to hate that would have been popular about 10 years ago. So on that note, recently I was playing Ninja Gaiden 4. I remember talking to you about that, Neo.
The new DLC?
No.
Okay.
Just the base game before the DLC came out. I will play the DLC as soon as I finish what I'm currently playing, which is Astral Chain.
Oh,
and I specifically went with Astral Chain because it's another Platinum game, and I really, really like that Platinum style.
I've heard that's a good game. How are you liking it?
It is a great time, but it is kind of different because you don't, unlike Metal Gear Rising or Ninja Gaiden 4, it's not just you doing the usual hack and slash. You have an AI partner, although you can have somebody else play co-op with you as that AI partner. But basically, it's you and your AI partner are fighting at the same time. So it's kind of an interesting concept. It's very, very sci-fi as well.
Yeah, I've heard it definitely plays a little bit differently than the rest of the mainline Platinum hack and slash games.
Yeah, like there are definitely elements of it in there. Like you can definitely see Platinum made it. But yeah, it is definitely a very... Let's see, dude.
I'm gonna address his comments in a moment.
It is a very different Platinum game for sure. My so far my only complaint is that there's a hot pink haired girl in the game, and instead of getting to ask her out, you help someone else ask her out. Thankfully she says no. But you know, I was just a little disappointed by that.
Cock simulator. I don't know about
That's
that.
what I was thinking. Okay, so yeah, I have the Ninja Gaiden 4 DLC, but I have not played it yet. So
yeah, me neither. As soon as I finish Astral Chain, I'm jumping into the Ninja Gaiden 4 DLC.
My buddy, he played it. He says it's pretty short, but it's pretty good. So all right. Okay, what have you been playing?
I'm playing a weird mess of stuff. My ongoing Skyrim playthrough is at like 200 hours almost since Christmas Eve. That has been a big addiction. I know people hear the number of like, oh, you've only played like 150 hours of Skyrim or whatever. I'm like, Christmas Eve. Like, just keep that in mind. It's only been like a couple of months.
And you play it on and off too, right? Like you're not playing that just Skyrim all the time.
No, not at all. I'm like in and out of it pretty much. It's like my backdrop game. I always have like one game that I'll kind of play casually. Like First Descendant was one of those. Anything that you can kind of pop in and out of quickly, right? And you don't have to like commit too much time to. So Skyrim has been really nice for that because you just go into a quick mission and you're like, save, I'm good. You know, like there's not really a point in Skyrim where you have to feel like, okay, I need to actually see this whole thing through. It's my first playthrough of it, and I'm having a really great time. I boycotted Skyrim for a very long time because I'm a Morrowind supremacist. And I've always been like, no, it can't get better than Morrowind. And then even with Oblivion, I didn't jump into Oblivion because I'm like, nope, it can't be better than Morrowind. But then the Oblivion remaster happened, and I was like, all right, fine, I'll play the Oblivion remaster.
And then it wiped your save.
Yeah, I did 80 hours and then lost everything.
That sucks.
In Oblivion.
Oh no.
And then restarted and have like another 120 something hours in Oblivion. I really like Oblivion. I just I stopped playing it because I kind of like know what the ending is already. So I'm like, I'll try Skyrim. I'm in a Skyrim mood. So I played Skyrim. I still think Morrowind's the best one out of all of them. That's just always going to stick with me forever. I know Neo hates the combat in Morrowind.
Combat is terrible.
I could go on an essay forever about how Morrowind is the best, but I will leave it at I think Morrowind is the greatest. I love that it's a little archaic, that I like the systems that actually challenge you. Skyrim is very simplified to me. I can see why people like it. I do like the environment of it. And there is an Easter egg that I didn't know that will matter to like no one except for me and a few other people, but you actually can go to an island as the DLC that used to be owned by Skyrim in Morrowind, and now it's like reversed pretty much. So you actually can play a Morrowind section in Skyrim, and I have lost it in an excitement over that. That was like the best day of my life in the past few months. So yeah, it's been Skyrim for me. I'm also playing the new Pokemon game as well. Not my type of game at all, but I'm actually having quite a good time with it. It's very, very cozy. I've never been an Animal Crossing person. Like I've played through Animal Crossing, but I usually get bored of it after a couple hours. But I actually do like the Pokemon game Nerd Takes. I completely agree with your criticism about the water gun. I think it should feel like Power Wash Simulator. Instead, it's like a hold, watch it happen, wait, turn. It's one of the two things that is pulling me out of the game. The other thing is the thing that has to be there, which is the way the trainer looks like a Ditto, because I just hate the way that Ditto face looks on a human. But I'm looking past both of those. I completely agree with you. There's little nitpicks, but ultimately it is a really fun game. I really like the story in Pokemon as well. You're further than me, but I think the story pulled me in pretty much right away, and I didn't expect that. So
Mhm.
that game is great. Other than that, I've played a bunch of the AVGN games this weekend.
That was
And
fun.
they kicked my ass. And there's enough said there. So yeah, I've been playing a lot of random things here and there, a little bit of the Duver Gold demo. Like I've been all over the place.
So, all right. Before I get into what I've been playing, I just got a tip from Aramis or Aramis. I'm not sure exactly
Adamus.
how that's pronounced, but I appreciate that very much. Thank you. I never ask for tips, but they are always greatly appreciated. And Aramis said, just coming in to support the Good Nightmare and the Fantastic K. So you guys got Aramis as a fan. So good to see you. Is it anybody knows it Aramis or Aramis?
So
Anybody
I
know
met
the
I met
correct
him in person.
pronunciation?
We had great conversations, and I said, I don't pronounce your name properly. And then he pronounced it and he rolled his tongue and I was like, I will never be able to pronounce your name
Oh, it's
properly.
like Aramis.
So I call
Is
him
it
Aramis.
Aramis?
I think the closest I can get it to is Aramis.
Aramis.
That's the
Aramis?
closest I can get.
Well,
But
either way.
Aramis. No, and then it was Aramis, I think.
Oh,
my
Aramis.
God,
Aramis.
great.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
All right.
I'm
I'll
just
try
like
to
running
remember
that conversation through my head as a person. So I'm like, I think it's one of those. He's just used to us all watching it. So he's a king. You guys definitely should go follow him. He does book reading and he does some other stuff. He's great. I had a great time hanging out with him.
Cool.
Aramis. All right.
Aramis.
So, and then I'll say hi to the chat here after I'm done before we get into our topics. But as for myself, what I've been playing lately, I've been panic playing something because I was gone all last week because I was up in her neck of the woods. And we almost got to meet in person, but it didn't pan out because James got sick. But I was up in Whistler last week snowboarding, and it was amazing. So I was kind of disconnected from the internet for a week, and I got back.
Isn't that just the best? Those weeks are always the best.
Yes, it was great. I don't like disconnecting from the internet, but because I was doing something, really fun.
Yeah, I guess
my favorite thing besides video games, snowboarding. It was great. So, where I was going, I was disconnected. So I got home and found out that one of the games that I had on my backlog is leaving Game Pass. And it is leaving this weekend, so I am panic playing it right now, trying to get it knocked out before it leaves Game Pass, and that is called Lightyear Frontier. It is kind of like, I guess, sort of like Animal Crossing in that it's like one of those cozy like farm sim games, but it's like a sci-fi one, and it's first person, and it's kind of like Satisfactory, but without the automation is what it's kind of like. And I'm a huge fan of Satisfactory. So I'm playing that right now before it leaves Game Pass. It's a little slow and it doesn't have a great like carrot on the stick of like guiding you like what you're supposed to do. It's like, here's things you can do, but it's like, what am I supposed to be doing is my biggest complaint with it. Technically, it still hasn't hit 1.0. It's still an early release. So it's odd that it's not even had its full release yet, and it's been on Game Pass for like a year, and now it's leaving. But I am enjoying it. It's just I wish I had a little more guidance of what I'm supposed to be doing, not just here's things you can do. Go and do them at your own leisure. I just wish I had a little bit more guidance to it, but it's not bad. And then the other thing that I am playing right now is I started last night for Metroidvania Monday because on the kind of the flip side of that is while I was gone, basically the number one game I've had on my Steam wish list for a few months since I played the demo on Metroidvania Monday when I did one of my demo showcases, essentially where I play a bunch of Metroidvania showcases. I think it was either late November or early December when I did the last one, and I played the demo for this and I really enjoyed it. So it was number one on my Steam wish list. And I almost bought it like a number of times because it's been like 40-ish% off a couple times. I got this close to buying it and I didn't buy it yet. And it's good that I didn't because while I was away last week, one, it shadow dropped onto Xbox with no announcement that it was ever coming to Xbox, which is why it was on my Steam wish list because, I'm an Xbox guy, so if it's on Xbox, that's where I want to play it. And if it's not on Xbox, then I'll play it on other platforms. So without any warning or notice or anything. It's like, hey, this is available on Xbox today. And on top of that, not only did it come to Xbox, it launched day one into Game Pass. So I came home to this game being on Game Pass. I was like, that's my next Metroidvania Monday game. And that game is called Mini Shoot Adventures. And it's a top-down twin-stick shooter Metroidvania. You're a little spaceship, and you get upgrades that allow you to, like dash, and you get gun upgrades and stuff. And so I was playing that for Metroidvania Monday last night, and I really enjoyed it. It's pretty short. The time completion is for like completion, not just beating the game, is like only like 10 hours. So it's pretty quick, but I am really enjoying that. And I'm looking forward to playing that again for Metroidvania Monday next Monday. And so yeah, those are kind of the main two things that I am playing right now. So yeah, so all right, and then I'll go ahead and say hi to the chat here before we get started. Dude was the first one coming in, and he said earlier he said I would have bought those if they had a physical release, and I believe he was talking about the Fire Red and Leaf Green that just released on Switch, but they are digital only. So
what's sadder is they're just ROMs inside an emulator.
What the worst part is that every language gets sold separately.
Really? Oh, I didn't even notice that.
There's an English only version, then you get, so even in the store it says Fire Red English only. That's like baffling.
Nintendo just can't get out of their own way sometimes. It's unbelievable.
I know.
So and Tales with Aramis is in there with the waving hand emoji, and yeah, I laughed at this earlier, but dude says Platinum Games far superior to Team Ninja. They are both great, but I prefer Team Ninja. But I know it's because he hates Ninja Gaiden games, but he likes the Platinum games.
Yeah, but he likes Dark Souls, so you know how much stock can you put into his opinion?
Well, that's what I was just saying.
Whoa! I'm a Souls fan here now.
I was just saying that I think it was Metroidvania Monday last night. I was just so ironic how he loves Dark Souls and hates Ninja Gaiden, and I love Ninja Gaiden and I hate Dark Souls. So,
meanwhile, I love Platinum over either of them.
I've actually never played a Ninja Gaiden at this point. I still haven't. I've been meaning to get into them, but I don't know, something about them. I've given a few a try. I think, what was it? Ninja Gaiden Black was one that they recently
2 Black
had on Game Pass. I tried it.
Black has never been on Game Pass. That was an original Xbox game, but Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, which is a remaster of Ninja Gaiden 2, that came out last year, and that's
the one I'm thinking of. I tried it, and I don't know. It just couldn't hook me. I got to give it another fair try again, but I don't know. I've never been able to get too into the Ninja Gaiden games.
I haven't played the 2D NES ones. I might at some point. We'll see. But Ninja Gaiden Black is my favorite. That's an original Xbox game. And then Ninja Gaiden 2 is also fantastic. 3 was terrible. I don't recommend it. But 4 is very different, but it's still really good because 4 is mainly developed by Platinum, and Platinum typically does really good stuff. So
gotcha.
4 is basically Platinum sneaking us Metal Gear Rising 2.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, and I see Fractured Filter's in chat. I think he's over on Nightmare's channel, but good to see you, Fractured Filter. Hope you're doing well tonight, buddy. Saying Enwa's be gone. Talking about Morrowind earlier. And James is also in chat saying I played the ending quest in front of her.
For Oblivion, yeah.
Okay.
I let him. I was like, yeah, go ahead, whatever. This game's going to take me hundreds of hours, sure.
So, and Nightmare is all saying that Morrowind has a superior soundtrack. I would say Skyrim has the best soundtrack.
No,
but
Morrowind, but that's fine.
I haven't played Morrowind more than like the first 20 minutes or so.
Oh God, it's so good.
That was enough for me.
I've actually never played any of the Elder Scrolls games, just Fallout.
I'm with you, Nightmare. They again, they're interesting, and I can see why they're interesting, but I just get a bit bored with all the dialogue options, and that's always an issue for me in some RPGs that are more designed that way. I'm more of like an action RPG kind of person.
Same.
Sometimes the amount of dialogue and choices you have to go through to get to like what you need, it becomes a chore for me sometimes. I see the games and I appreciate what they are because they're obviously well made, beautiful looking games, but yeah, they don't always quite work for me. Even the Fallout games, I have issues, with some of that.
Yeah, for sure. I think for me, a lot of times I actually prefer when all the characters are voiced rather than when they do that thing where nobody's got any voices, so people will go, oh, it has so much better writing, but for me it's like it's not better, it's just longer.
Yeah. I agree there.
So Aramis says I played Morrowind for the gameplay, played Skyrim for the story. To each their own. I don't think the gameplay in Morrowind is any good, but
Oh,
to each their own.
it's hurting my soul.
I don't
Jeremy's
understand how you
soul,
can
if you
enjoy
will.
it.
Oh,
But he also said, and also to rage against the machine over the dragons. Those aren't dragons. That's the wrong form of there. It should be they are, but they're wyverns. Yes, because dragons. Here's your anatomy lesson for the day. Dragons have 4 legs and wings. Wyverns have 2 legs and their arms are also their wings. So that's the differentiator.
Are they not a
I
form
actually
of
didn't know
dragon,
that.
though? Huh. I always
Yeah,
thought a
wouldn't a
wyvern was a
wyvern-
form of dragon.
A wyvern isn't. Yeah, I thought the same nightmare. Is that totally different
I
species?
believe they're in the same family of species, aren't they?
Related. They're obviously dragons aren't real, but if they were to be categorized scientifically, they'd be
Let's
like
just
cousins
pretend.
of dragons.
I only know about wyverns because of Fire Emblem, so I do understand this tisming because I agree.
I wouldn't have made that distinction on my own, but now that you say it, it makes sense.
So
And now
in
I'm just thinking of
fact-
like Game of Thrones. All those dragons are really wyverns, then, right? Because they only
So
had...
apparently,
Game of Thrones, so I
wyvern
don't know.
derives from the Germanic words for dragon.
That I did not know. But I'm there with you, Aramis, because that annoys me too. And people are like, oh, the dragons. Like, no, those are wyverns. So like,
Oh.
actually, they are
The
wyverns.
more you know.
I do that all the time, so I'm there with you. And Fallen Angel's also over there on Nightmare's channel. Good evening, Fallen Angel. How's it going? Let's see here. Morrowind has superior. Oh, Fractured's with you, saying that the Morrowind's soundtrack is superior.
Fractured understands me. I know he does. We talk about Morrowind together all the time. Any chance we get.
Fallen angel.
He gets me.
Let's see here.
You should totally read Fallen Angel's last comment.
I'm just trying to skim through this. And James said Ninja Gaiden 2 Black sounds like a movie adaptation that would star Chris Tucker.
I can see it.
Talking about adaptations, that'll be our first topic on the agenda for tonight. And James says Oblivion wins for soundtrack just for Harvest Dawn. Are you kidding? Man, I mean, the Skyrim theme is freaking phenomenal.
Well, it's Jeremy Soule. Like, Jeremy Soule's also responsible for KOTOR.
I don't know who that is.
He's the guy that does the Elder Scrolls soundtrack, so he's super
okay.
famous for that. But I also found out he does like Putt and all that stuff, and he did KOTOR, and he does the Harry
Really?
Potter PS2 games. So like he's a big part of like our retro gaming history that we all care about.
All right. Fallen Angel says Kay knows her dragon lore because of Three Houses.
No.
All right.
None of that.
And Artemis says, well, about to show my tism here, dragons, wyverns are historically distinct creatures in European heraldry and folklore. A dragon typically has 4 legs and wings. Exactly what I said. And wyverns, they have typically the 2 back legs, and then their front legs are also their wings.
So is this like a case of all wyverns or wyverns are dragons, but not all dragons are wyverns?
That's how I would put it.
That's
yeah.
right. That's
All
that makes
rectangles
sense.
are squares, but not all squares are rectangles.
Yeah, like that kind of concept. Like all the wyverns
Yeah.
would technically be dragons, but not every dragon is a wyvern.
I would say so.
I think that sounds like a fair compromise here, right?
Yes. So, all right. Well, with that, we'll go ahead and get into our topics for tonight. And hopefully we've rambled on that you guys might have been able to come up with some answers to the first question already.
I've been thinking about wyverns only at this point.
I'm living in the moment, okay, Neil?
All right. So for the first topic up for tonight, I did give Jay the option to suggest a topic, but he did not provide one, but which is perfectly fine. I just like to offer the option. So, let's see here. Did I write down where this one came from? No, I did not. But so the first topic for tonight is I was just looking to see if I wrote down where this idea came from, and I don't have anything written, so it must have just been one that randomly popped into my head while I was trying to think of topics. Because if it's someone who gave me the idea, I like to credit them. But first topic is what is the best video game adaptation? And that is not a video game that is an adaptation of something. It was a video game and then it was adapted into something else. So I definitely needed to make that clear. So obviously the best video game adaptation of a video game is the Halo TV show. Just kidding. That doesn't exist. It is a disgrace, and it doesn't exist because no. So does anyone want to go first? Because I'll go ahead and go first to give you guys.
That is the
some more
easiest
time if
question
you
in the
want.
world for me. I didn't even realize that was a
Ooh.
question. That is super
Okay.
easy. So you're
All right.
saying a video game that changed into a different media, right?
Yeah.
Easiest
Adapted in
question.
any other medium.
Extremely predictable for me. Dead or Alive movie. Done.
Oh,
Easy, simple
okay.
answer. The Dead or Alive movie is incredible. The outfits are very similar to the games. Any outfit you see on the characters, like, oh my god, I could see this in a version of the game. They do a little cameo to the volleyball series. So there's literally a segment where they do beach volleyball, which is a spin-off of Dead or Alive, the fighting games. There's like each character, I would say, is mostly accurate to how they are within the game series, with the exception of Helena, who kind of takes on a bit of Hitomi's characteristics a little bit. They kind of mesh them together because Helena is kind of more of a serious operatic type character, and then you've got Hitomi who's super bubbly. So for some reason they made Helena very bubbly because I guess she's like the main person that's talking to drive the tournament. But that entire game movie is so good at just being like a quick what is Dead or Alive as a series. It's goofy, it's a fighting tournament. They even add the health bars at the top of every like match that they do. And I don't know. I love that movie so much. That's my favorite video game movie ever. And it's not perfect, but for me it is. And that's all that matters. So that is an easy question for me.
Oh, excellent. So we talked about this was probably more than a year ago, but we talked about video game guilty pleasures. And I did the Dead or Alive movie because I had never seen it until you guys did your watch party. I didn't catch the whole thing. I only caught like the second half of the movie, but that was definitely, it's very goofy, ridiculous, but it was.
But so is Dead or Alive.
It was very enjoyable. It's that popcorn type of, turn your brain off and have fun type of movie. So I get it.
Yeah, it's like every like scene of that movie, I'm like, this is art. I don't even care. They introduced one character where I was like, am I not a big enough Dead or Alive fan? I don't recognize who this character is. And I was like freaking out because I'm like, this is something I tism over. And then I realized they actually created a character for the movie, which is played by Matthew Martin, I want to say.
Oh, so that character is not in the games.
He is not in the games. I think his name is Matthew Martin or something like that. I think he like associates with Geeks and Gamers and stuff. Like I've seen his name around on Twitter.
Yeah, it is Matthew Marsden.
Yeah, but he's like Max.
His name was Max.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know a Max in Dead or Alive, and I was like freaking out. I was like, no, is there something I'm missing? No, he's made up for the movie as like a little like love interest character or whatever. But there's like the opening scene with Christy, and that's super Dead or Alive. And the thing I like too is that like Dead or Alive as a game series has always been really good at using the background environment as like the arena, and it really stands out. And the way that you like shoot into different parts, like if you go through a building, you're like tumbling downstairs and you end up in a whole different arena. Like it was really good at doing that kind of stuff. And the movie replicated that too. So yeah, it's I could gush over that movie forever. It's so good. If you haven't seen the Dead or Alive movie, watch it. It's incredible. And yeah, as James said, Kevin Nash is in there too. Like all the casting is perfect too. Jamie Presley is Tina. It's so good. So good.
Yeah, I know. Because Kevin Nash, he was the first thing I ever saw him in was he was the bouncer in John Wick. So people, I think he was wrestling. Is that right?
Yep.
He's a wrestler. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, that's why James is a big fan of him.
Both, but I always think of him from the NWO, WCW days a little bit more than his original WWF run.
So the other one that I want to give a shout out to, most people probably don't know who he is, but Colin, I believe it's Chow. It was in the movie, and he plays, is it Hayate?
Yeah, Hayate.
Because he plays Seraph in Matrix Reloaded, Matrix Evolution. So
yeah, all of the people that were acting, I mean, obviously they have stunt doubles and stuff, but they all sold the moves and stuff really well too. I felt like I could have easily been playing the movie as a video game. And I'm almost surprised they didn't make a Dead or Alive, the movie, the video game in response to the movie.
Oh, like they did with Street Fighter, the movie, the video game?
Yeah, they totally could have pulled it off. So,
okay.
Great movie.
Well, good pick. James says the Sonic the Hedgehog fanfic wins, of course.
See, I would have guessed that Kay was going to say Sonic the Hedgehog.
I have a
Sonic
feeling
3.
someone on the panel might pick that.
Sonic 3 would probably be in my top 5 best movie adaptations, but they didn't play out everything that happened properly, and so everyone else loved the Sonic 3 movie, and I really strongly liked it, but I had a lot of problems with it because I was very tisming about it. I tismed about everything, and I was like, "They didn't do this thing, and they didn't do this," so yeah, Dead or Alive was, like, enough of a cinematic experience that I could still enjoy it. When I watched Sonic 3, I was like, but that doesn't happen to that character that way. But then there are moments because I watched it on the night before the official like release. They did like a fan release thing, and I went to that for Sonic 3. And it was a lot of us that are like really big Sonic fans, and James who had to sit there being like, "Why am I here?" And they do this one scene in the Sonic movie where he jumps out of the helicopter and he goes, "No in-flight movies or food, I'm out of here." And I was like, "Yes!" And I was so excited. So there, yeah, I did like that movie a lot, but Dead or Alive still wins.
Okay. What about you, Nerd Takes? What would you say is your favorite adaptation of a video game?
So the topic of video games, or video games turned into TV shows or movies, I should say, such an interesting one because it's got such a weird past. Because it's been just such a hit or miss attempt at bringing video games to these two different mediums. I think some of the more original ones, from your the original Mario through the original Resident Evil movies, and didn't they do a Silent Hill one also?
Yeah, I want to say the Silent Hill was Juve Bowl.
Yeah, I
I'll pull it up
think
here.
so. Even the Tomb Raider movies, like there's a lot of nostalgia for I think a lot of those, but they don't really hold up as great movies when I look back on a lot of them.
Definitely
So
not.
if you kind of put the nostalgia aside for some of those that either Mortal Kombat movies, the original ones from like the 90s, those, I got a lot of nostalgia for those, and I love them for what they are, but they don't really hold up great. I think lately we've been getting better options for both TV and movie when it comes to these adaptations.
Quick correction: the Silent Hill movie from 2006 was directed by Christoph Gans.
Oh, okay. I would have thought it was.
Yeah, see, I always assumed Uwe Boll directed the Doom movie, the one with The Rock and Carl.
There was a
Urban,
lot that he
I think
did,
it was
wasn't
him.
there?
Yeah.
He's done a lot of video game
Postal
adaptations,
as
and they've all been
well?
terrible.
Yeah, I think he did do Postal.
Postal, I think he did.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at a list
In the
now.
Name
He's
of the
done.
King.
He's done a lot. Alone in the Dark. He did.
Alone in the Dark. That's right.
Blood Rain.
Blood Rain. Yeah.
Postal. Yeah. In the Name of the King. Yeah. Yeah. He's done quite a few. I would have thought that was one of his also, honestly. But yeah, so I think lately they've been getting better. You've had the Sonic movies. I thought Detective Pikachu was a solid one. Five Nights at Freddy's I thought was a pretty solid, way to bring a horror game into a movie medium.
The first one, not the second one, right?
I haven't seen the second.
They already made a second one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it came out back in December too. I just haven't gotten around to watching it, but I did enjoy I actually didn't even hear reviews or anything because I know very little about it. But the first one I thought was pretty solid. I thought it was a pretty interesting kind of way to take it from what it is and make it into a movie.
The first one is incredible. The second one, just manage your expectations if you watch. That is all I'll say.
Okay,
I went to
fair
theaters
enough.
for both, so
Fair enough. Well, and that kind of proves that it's still hit or miss with trying to make these. I think you're getting more hits. I don't know that the hits are quite home runs, but they're at least they're hits. There's something. You're getting something out of these movies versus before when it was a lot of crap, to be honest. So I think that the one that rises to the top, it's not the most inspired choice, but for me, it was the Mario movie. I just think I think the Mario movie was great. It hits again. It's not like say.
I'm assuming we're talking about the 2024, not the one from 92 or
yes, the Super Mario Brothers movie, not the original one. Although again, that's a nostalgia one. I do love that for what it is. But yes, the more recent animated one.
There was a Mario cartoon way back in the day, wasn't there?
Yep, the 80s one.
Oh,
Yep,
yeah. I
yep,
love
that
that
was
cartoon.
that was a thing too.
Is that the one that was voiced by Lou Albano?
so.
Oh, I'm not sure. I honestly
I
wouldn't
think it's
know.
him.
Because I mostly know him for doing an anti-drug PSA, which was very weird.
Yeah, it's from the cartoon.
But yeah, so it's that one for me. It's not like some. And I think most honestly, when they're doing these adaptations, they really just take the IP and try to take the concepts from it and create this whole new story. So it's not always a case like The Last of Us, where I haven't watched the show, nor have I played the game, but from what I understand, because of the nature of that story and how well regarded it is as a great story in gaming, they did decent enough job, I think, at translating the exact story beat for beat, or as much as they could beat for beat, into the show. Most of these are, they take the IP and just do their whole new thing with it, which I'm fine with. I don't think these things have to follow any specific story exactly as it was in a game, at least to that degree, as say a Last of Us show would. Like Fallout, for example. From what I understand, Fallout, the show, isn't very much like the games at all. I've never been a huge fan of the games. But I really enjoy the show because it's a quality show to me, that in terms of like all the fundamentals that make a good show, the acting, the writing, the story, the whole deal. And it takes the IP that's super recognizable. Like I know Fallout well enough to know the vault close, the Pit Boy, like all that concept of it. So I think,
we're so lucky Ryan isn't here right now, because
is he not a fan of the show?
He likes the show, but I hate it. Because of what it does to New Vegas, which is my favorite Fallout game.
And I was just going to allude to that. Like, I know a lot of people were super upset about what it allegedly apparently does to the New Vegas lore. But again, as an outsider from the series, who I don't know anything about the New Vegas lore, I'm just kind of going through what the show's given me. It's a well-made show, but I also understand people not liking it because it's not, sticking to games that I've, like a Mario game, for example, isn't the strongest in storytelling. It's simple. You're saving
basically
the princess from Bowser.
Big problem with the Fallout show is that it tries to say, oh, see, we're still part of the same universe as all the other Fallout games, but then it undoes a lot of the stuff that's in New Vegas, basically.
Right. Fair enough. And that I can understand from fans of the game series, where it's something that has a pretty pretty well-established lore and stories, and the games are very narrative. Like, you're not just playing a Fallout game for the gameplay like you would a Mario game, where you don't care about the story all that much. You're playing for that narrative, for that storytelling experience as well. So I understand why that stuff doesn't work for everybody. So that's why I kind of like when things do what Illumination did with Mario, which was, look, we're going to take the IP, we're going to take the things you recognize, the good stuff, the stuff fans love. We're going to try to come up with a story for it, albeit, again, a fairly simple story, just like the games were. But we're just going to make you have fun. You're going to make sure that you have fun. You're going to have those nostalgic moments, those I remember that, I know what game that's from moment. And I just think they did a great job with it. And even the Sonic games, I think, the Sonic movies, I think, do a good job with creating their own story and just giving you a fun ride, too.
That's what I thought you were going to say was the Sonic movies.
They're up there for me, too, when it comes to these, for sure.
I would watch the Mario movie, but the only reason I haven't is because I don't think I could take Seth Rogen.
Oh, it's hard.
Yeah,
hard to deal with Seth Rogen.
I'm not a fan of Seth Rogen in general. I just don't think he's all that funny. I think even like the movies that are funny with him, Superbad, Pineapple Express, This Is the End. It's not really because of him. It's the cast around him. Your Danny McBrides, your Jonah Hills. Like, those are the guys that I think are funny.
And now what makes me even angrier is that I found out that Rosalina, the princess I like most, has been cast as Brie Larson.
Okay, but Nightmare, she really likes Galaxy. I'm kind of happy for her.
I'll be honest.
I know we all hate Brie Larson, but I'm happy for her.
I'll be honest. I know Brie Larson did not help herself during that span of being Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
She definitely, said things that, like, again, she had the right to say them, but there were obvious things that were going to turn a lot of fans off. And I think she kind of realized that. I feel like she's been trying to get back in the good graces of fans. I feel like I want to give her a second chance. She's not a bad actress. And this is one thing I think people forget. Her movie, I always get it confused with the Tommy Wiseau. I can't remember if hers is Room.
The Room?
There's one that's The Room, and there's one that's called
Tommy
Room.
Wiseau is The Room. Hers is Room, I believe. If I
got those two movies mixed up for the longest time, and I was like, "Why are you guys talking about this different movie?" And like Brie Larson's in this movie. What are you guys talking about? I was so confused.
And they literally couldn't be more different. But she is phenomenal in that movie. She's a very talented actress. I just don't think the Captain Marvel thing really worked out in terms of on the screen and then off the screen when you would just get in the comments. It put a lot of fans off, and I get it.
Well, Captain Marvel is supposed to be a man. That's a big part of the problem.
Yeah, and that's right. But that's a whole different,
And
conversation.
then she was basically going out trying to defend her being in the role, but then she just started insulting fans while doing it.
Yeah, and I think that's where she kind of probably, I would like to think, learned a bit of like a PR lesson of like, oh yeah, you can really turn off a lot of fans by saying certain things. And again, yeah, right. The history of Captain Marvel as a character, that's more on the actual Marvel, company side of their changes. Like, she just got the role. She was, and anybody would have taken it type of thing. It's more kind of like how the response to some of the critiques was just a bit like, ooh, rub people the wrong way. But regardless, I do think she's done a pretty good job at trying to kind of like rebuild a little bit of that relationship with fans and kind of Stop saying things that deliberately kind of, spit in the face of fans, so to speak.
haven't heard her say
And she
anything
does
dumb
seem,
in a long
yeah, and
time.
she does seem like a real legitimate fan of Rosalina and Galaxy. So
She
I'm willing
is.
to give her. I'm willing to give her another shot with,
There was an
all that stuff.
There's an article several years ago, and I didn't realize at the time, obviously, that she's going to be in Mario Galaxy, but she apparently broke up with her boyfriend because he wasn't supportive of her playing Mario Galaxy.
Oh my
And this
word.
article came out years ago, like 2021 or something.
No kidding.
And then when the casting happened, I was like, oh my God, I remember this article from so long ago. It was so weird. And yeah, so I
And
mean,
maybe
she's an
that's
actual
something-
fan.
Don't do that. Don't make me like her, Kay.
And
Don't make
maybe
me like
I-
her.
I understand, Nightmare, where you're coming from, and I get it because I hate when people like are disrespectful. Almost said a swear word there. Disrespectful to the fans.
Mhm.
But like I watched the direct yesterday. I've been kind of softening in general on Brie Larson. And I was like, you know what? I keep begging for these companies to pick people that are actually fans of the things that they're
Mhm.
working on. And they did that with Rosalina and Brie Larson. So I am
Right.
cheering her on in that sense because she deserves to be in the role. She's got a good voice. I mean, it's not perfect, obviously. But if you're going to be doing the stupid celebrity run where you have to pick the person that's famous and whatever, at least pick someone that like cares and wants to be that character. So I don't know if you got to watch the Nintendo thing that they did yesterday, Nightmare, or the day before, but it was nice to see her at least being like, I'm really excited and happy. It's just that to me is a return to normalcy, is putting people in the spot where they actually care about the thing that they're working on.
Mhm. No, I agree. I do love that. It's one of the reasons why I always like Henry Cavill, because the fact that he's a fan of all these things, he wants to work on it. I think
Henry
just
Cavill
that little bit of
is the
relatability.
most screwed over, passionate guy I've
Yeah,
ever seen.
he's-
Yeah.
Agreed.
He
It's
tried doing
it's a shame,
Superman.
really.
The Superman
Yeah.
was terrible, but he should have been good. Witcher. Well, we all know how that went. Should have been good.
He should be James
Yep.
Bond.
And
Yeah,
none
he
of
should
it's
be
really
James
his
Bond. He
fault.
absolutely should
By,
be.
by all accounts, he's over there trying to course correct all these things, and they
Yeah.
won't
And they just
listen
keep
to
screwing
him.
him over.
And yeah,
Supposedly,
yeah, it's a
they've
shame.
given him full creative control on his Warhammer project. I hope that works out for him.
Yeah, that's what they
Fingers
say.
crossed.
Who knows what that ever really means when it comes to
Yeah.
studios and their promises, obviously. But hopefully that is the case, and he gets to have his kind of passion project with it. But he's it's another case. Just when you see that genuine nature from them, one, it makes you excited because people with passion are working on these projects. Two, it just makes it relatable. These people who tend to live in a world where we don't live, and it gets annoying when they kind of try to talk down to us or tell us, these things of it's not good because you're the problem with it because you didn't like it, type of thing. Like that gets pretty frustrating. And like Kay said, it can feel pretty disrespectful. And I think a tough part of it too is I'm sure a lot of their public responses when it comes to those things, they do say things that feel disrespectful to all fans. It's probably aimed at some of just the negative trolls that they're hearing, like that small vocal minority of people who, aren't just being, a little bit critical, but are kind of being, just ridiculous about some of their complaints and things. So it probably is like misguided. Again, I don't want to speak for them. Who knows who they're aiming these comments at, but some of it's probably more aimed at that portion of fans, not just the people who are passionately critiquing it because they love it. And we all kind of take a little bit of offense to us because it's painting with too broad of a stroke.
It could be.
So,
I like how when
I-
Cavill was asked about that one time, he just completely did a 180 on that, and he said, "No,
Yeah.
they're not trolls. They're passionate. They really
Right.
care."
And I think that's why I kind of get the idea that I bet you a lot of these people are just confusing some of the passionate critical fans with the people who are maybe on the internet just trying to shit post. Oh, I'm sorry, Neil. Crap posts on people. So I'm sure some of that kind of just gets mixed up in the messaging and all that. And I can't say for everybody that that's the case. Maybe some people really just think they're above it all and whatever, they want to crap on the fans. But when I see somebody like her seemingly make an active effort to try to repair some of that, bond with fans, it makes me feel like at least maybe she's one of the ones that maybe I misspoke a few times or directed things a little too broad when I should have been more precise with what I was saying. And like I said, I'm willing to give her a second chance. She seems like she's making an effort. If she turns around, the movie stinks, and she does the whole blame fans things again, then maybe I'm wrong.
Nightmare, you are correct in the never forget how they act, right? Because it's easy for them to sway with the wind. So
Right.
on that side, I do agree with you. I softened literally like a day ago because of the Mario trailer. Like, if you asked me this like a few months ago, I would have been like, yeah, screw her. Wanted to swear there. You know what I mean? Like, I would have been like, no, I don't care. And that's usually my philosophy. But I just was filled with joy because Nintendo does that to me. It's my Disney.
Well, and I think that's the thing too, though, Kay, and Nightmare, what you're alluding to is it does have to be genuine. It can't just be like you're doing the PR thing because you feel the tides are turning, and in terms of what you can or can't say about fans and all that, what the studios will allow you to say because of the promotions and PR and blah, blah, blah. You know, we've seen movies and things fail, and a lot of people point to some of the stuff the actors said leading up to those movies. So some of it could just be swaying with the wind 100%. That's why I do feel like you have to feel like it's genuine. And I think with her, at least with, I think that maybe it's just the passion for Rosalina and Galaxy that's making it, you know, feel like she's genuine. But at any rate, it feels somewhat genuine. So I'm willing to give her a shot.
Yeah. And then on the flip side, you got guys like Keanu Reeves, who seems like a very, very nice guy, all things considered. But I have no idea if all the stuff he does is genuine. And, you know, he probably is a nice guy, but I have no idea if he actually has any real passion for the projects that he's in, or if he's just, you know, a nice guy who's just trying to make money.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. We'll never really. That's why it always comes down to your gut judgment is what I go by the most, you know. Sometimes you can just feel when somebody's full of crap and when somebody's being genuine.
Yeah.
So before I move on here to Nightmare, so this topic, as I said, just, you know, video game adapted into any other medium. But I, you know, like, you know what? Let me go and look at a top 5 that we did on a similar topic. We did top 5 video game movies, and lo and behold, Nerd Takes was on that panel.
Yeah, I was. That was
Nice.
one. I was on that
And
one.
his number 1 was Mario Brothers.
It sure was. I wasn't sure if you'd remember.
I forgot, but I pulled my notes up here. Like, oh, Nerd Takes was on that panel, so checks out.
Nothing's come out since then to really kind of sway me off that. Like I said, the Sonic movies have probably been the closest thing.
That was your number 4, and that was also my number 4.
Yeah, so I don't think anything recently has passed that. They've been close. I didn't watch Minecraft movie, nor do I really want to. So yeah.
Okay, can you sing Steve's Lava Chicken for us?
Sonic's right behind them.
No, but I have a feeling you have a way to make that happen, Nightmare.
I probably could.
With my control.
And while you guys were talking, I saw a lot of the chat was talking about Mortal Kombat. And so while I also want to bring this up, because when we did top 5 video game movies, Jason's number 1 and Ryan's number 1 was Mortal Kombat. So
was that, and I forget, was that the ones from the 90s, or that wasn't the more recent one, right?
No, the original one from like 92 or whenever it was.
I didn't even realize there was a recent one.
Yeah, it's
they're garbage, man.
Yeah, it's not.
I haven't seen it.
It's tough. It's not good. Like the more recent one's not good per se, but like I don't know if you can just kind of like turn your brain off and not be super analytical and just kind of watch to see, you know, the Mortal Kombat characters and the moves and the things that you recognize from the game, you can get a little something out of watching it. It's not great though. I actually, my first watch of it, I was like, oh man, this is good. I enjoyed it. And then later on, I was with my wife and I was like, oh, you want to watch this Mortal Kombat movie? It'll be great. Like, you ever hear these games? I'm telling her all about it. She's like, yeah, we'll watch it. So I'm finally, we throw it on. About 20 minutes in, I'm like, oh God, this movie's not that good. Why did I think it was so good the first time I watched it? And then and by the end of it, she was like, I can't believe you made me watch that. I'm like, yeah, I thought it was better. But so it's like, I think I realized then, like, yeah, it was a bit of the nostalgia of just like, oh, I recognize that move. I recognize that character. That kind of got me through and Kano. Kano's honestly pretty damn funny in that movie. So those two things kind of get you through it with enough entertainment. But when you look at it with an analytical lens, it's like, oh God, this is not a very good movie.
All right. And Hassan showed up in chat. Hello, Hassan. Good to see you. So, all right. Nightmare, what about you? What's your favorite video adaptation of a video game?
All right. So get ready for this here.
Oh, and while you're doing that, Nightmare Cast also showed up in chat. What's up, Nightmare Cast? Oh, interesting. That was definitely a surprise.
Yeah, so, you know...
No way. Really?
You know, you can't beat Pedro Pascal and
okay,
Bella
now
Ramsey,
I know you're trolling.
This has to be the greatest video game adaptation of all time, really. I mean, I don't know how you can do better. Okay, terrible jokes aside, my answer actually is going to be and this is unexpected because I figured most people would be going movies, but I couldn't think of a movie that I loved that much. So I went with the novel.
Okay.
The novelization for Star Wars The Force Unleashed.
I thought everyone was going to go with the movie because mine is also a novel.
Nice.
And Oh no, it's not. Never mind.
I don't
It is a
read
novel,
enough.
but
I don't read enough to have picked a book. Unfortunately, I got to read more.
I've gotten the gist of the novelization of Force Unleashed, but I haven't actually read the novelization of Force
I
Unleashed.
mean, it's pretty similar. Just kind of expands on the events of the game.
Mm-hmm.
It also establishes Star Killer's real name was Galen Merrick. However you pronounce that.
Yeah, Galen Merrick.
So it's a really well written novel. I enjoyed it. I remember reading it. I never actually owned it. I got it from the library when I was a kid. But I had a great time reading it. But yeah, it's well written. It's worth read. If you don't like the game but you like Star Wars, you might have a good time with the book instead. I'll be honest. The only reason I even got the book was because I was going on a trip and I wouldn't be able to play the game. So
I know is that. I know you love that game. Is that your favorite Star Wars game?
Well, the second one is my favorite Star Wars game.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah. So and I just love the idea of Jedi actually doing these like massive things on a regular basis instead of just sort of the lightweight stuff they tend to focus on.
Yeah, I loved because I do like the Force Unleashed games. They're not in my top 5 Star Wars games, but I did enjoy them. But my favorite thing about like the development of the games was the whole motto of the development team was kicking someone's ass with the Force, and that's word for word what they've said. And I'm like, that is awesome. I love it.
Yeah, that is the mentality we need. Yeah, that is a mentality I honestly wish we saw more of in games these days.
Okay. Well, nice. Yeah, I've read lots of Star Wars books, but that is not one that I have read. But okay,
now, is that book one that's been completely wiped from the world of Star Wars?
So the entire plot of Force Unleashed has now been wiped from Star Wars with Disney because the big point of Starkiller was that he was the one handling Order 66 effectively. Where he was, or not all of it, but he was the one wiping out like the remaining Jedi from Order 66. And now with the, I forget what they call them, but you know, basically the enemies in Star Wars Fallen Order, you know, the sisters or whatever they're called.
Oh, yeah, I can't remember
the Night Sisters, or are you talking about the Inquisitors?
Inquisitors, that's what they're called. Thank you.
Because the Night Sisters, I was like, no, the Night Sisters. Well, I guess.
Well, because they're all called like the second sister,
second sister, stuff like that. Yeah, I was thinking because Merrin is in it, and she is I don't know if she's considered a Night Sister, but she is from Dathomir, and that's where the Night Sisters are from.
Right.
I guess she would be. I don't know what the male equivalent is that Darth Maul was, but yeah. Anyway, the Inquisitors. So the Inquisitors basically just completely replaced Starkiller, which I think is a much less interesting story because the idea of like a very powerful secret apprentice to Darth Vader is way cooler than I don't know if I want to get into Fallen Order too much, but I was incredibly disappointed by that game.
No, fair enough.
I thought it was all right, and I haven't played Jedi Survivor yet, but I think Fallen Order is by far the best video game to come out of Disney Star Wars, but that doesn't really say a whole lot because it's not a very high bar. But I would say it's higher bar than the movies.
So for me, that game might actually come up for a question later.
Okay.
I enjoyed the gameplay of that game. But I'll be honest, I couldn't even tell you what the story was about at this point. It was like
the story was about running away.
Yeah, like I like the details. I can barely remember the details. Honestly, of it, I remember that. Oh, well, like I said, there's a question later that I'll get to, especially why I can't totally remember the story.
Well, see, I hated the gameplay too because
fair enough, then.
Yeah, I hate Souls likes myself. So
I'm a Souls. Yeah, so
it makes sense you would like it.
Right. That makes total sense then.
Armis said the Force Unleashed were amazing. One of the few games that had a better sequel than the original. Which that's interesting that you say that because I don't.
Finally, someone who gets it.
I was like, I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that the second one is better than the first one.
Except me. I love it.
Except Nightmare, yeah. So I enjoyed them both, but yeah, 2 was. It was. My guess is it was going to be a DLC, and they turned it into a full game, but it's a very short.
It is very short, but then so are Platinum games.
But it felt, I don't want to say half-baked, but maybe not full effort. But I did enjoy them. I did 100% both of them. So
I also love that in Force Unleashed 2, you can play as Guybrush Threepwood.
Oh, that's right. There was a skin for it,
there's a
wasn't there?
skin. Yeah.
So, all right. And Nightmare Cast said, I bought the Splinter Cell book back when I used to be obsessed with the game. Then I remembered I hate reading. I think I read all of the Splinter Cell books and I really enjoyed them.
I'd like to read those.
Obviously, they were well after Tom Clancy died. So the actual author is, I want to say it was David Wells. And every time I heard someone mention it outside of video games, they mentioned it like with disdain. I was like, oh, those Splinter Cell books, like they were bad. It's like, did you read them? Or because I thought the Splinter Cell books were great. So I don't know why the Splinter Cell books had such a negative connotation towards them every time I heard someone talk about them outside of the video game world. But I really enjoyed them.
I'd like to read them. I'm a big Splinter Cell fan too. I'll tell you what, don't bother watching the animated Netflix show because it was.
Oh, that's right. I think last time I talked to you, I was gonna be like,
it was not.
People were like, "Are you gonna watch it?" And I was like, "I'm gonna wait till people I trust watch it, and then I'll find out what they think, and then I'll decide to watch it."
It wasn't like Netflix slop, but it also wasn't good. Like it was a watchable thing, I suppose. But it just did not feel. It just felt like they had like a spy story they wanted to tell, and they were just like, "Oh, we need to put a recognizable IP on this spy story," and they just pulled on Splinter Cell's IP. It did not feel like Sam Fisher or Splinter Cell whatsoever.
Okay. Nightmare Cast said Deborah Wilson Order. Talked about Fallen Order. That's the game that put her on the map for me because I didn't know who she was until then.
She is the Jared Leto of video games.
that's not a bad comparison. But all right. So mine. So I thought I was going to be the only one with a book. Mine is also a book, and it is probably my favorite book that's not a Star Wars book. And it's probably the single book that I've read the most times. It is the original Mass Effect book, Mass Effect Revelations. Now,
is that an independent story in the universe, or is it an adaptation of one of the games?
So it's a prequel. It leads into the first game.
Gotcha.
It's all about Saren, who's the main antagonist of the first game, and Anderson, who in the game he is Captain Anderson, but in the book I forget what his rank was because it's a prequel, so he's not yet a captain. But
they were like Spectre candidates together or something, right?
Yeah. So Saren is already a Spectre, and Anderson is being put forth as potentially the first human Spectre. And Saren is they go on a mission together, and Saren's evaluating him. But Saren is a complete racist. He hates humans, and so he does everything he can to tank Anderson's potential of becoming the first human Spectre, and he succeeds. And that's why in the game, Commander Shepard becomes the first human Spectre. But this is a really fantastic book. I think I've read it like 5 times. It's been a long time since I've read it, but I've read it, I think, 5 times. And this is a really, really good book. And it did come out before the game came out, but they had already had the story of the game written, so that's why they were able to write the book and release it before the game came out. Nice. And it introduced me to one of my favorite authors, Drew Karpyshyn, who James has impossible for him to pronounce
Bane, right?
Yeah, but James, who literally cannot pronounce his name correctly, but Drew Karpyshyn, this is the book that introduced me to him. And after reading it, let's see here, where is it? Is it on the front cover or on the back? Yeah, so on the back cover, it's got his picture, and you can't really see it because it's too bright, but in the little excerpt here about him, it says, Drew Karpyshyn is the best-selling author of Star Wars Darth Bane. I was like, ooh, he wrote some Star Wars books? I love Star Wars books. So I went and read his Star Wars books, which are the Darth Bane books, which are these 3 right here, and those are my favorite Star Wars books. So I love Drew Karpyshyn. He is a great author, and he liked one of my tweets one time when I was saying how great of an author he was. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, excellent book. I love this. And I read it before the game came out. So not a whole lot in the book actually ties in. There's a couple of ties here and there to the game, but it's not like you need to read it before you play the game. But if you do read the book and then play the game, there'll be some references like, I got that reference. Like the Leonardo DiCaprio meme where he's like pointing at the TV or whatever. So I had that a number of times the first time I played Mass Effect because I read the book. I'm like, I got that reference. Or you can also use the Captain America meme in Avengers where he understood the reference. So
I understood that reference.
I understood that reference. So there are 4 Mass Effect books. He wrote the first 3. The 4th one was written by someone else. Do not read the 4th one. That one is terrible. But the first 3 books that Drew Karpyshyn wrote are all great. But this is the one that ties in with the games, I think, the most. The other ones are kind of side stories where they might have one little thing mentioned in the game later on, but there's a number of things that tie back to this book in the first game. So that is my answer, is the Mass Effect Revelations book. This was fantastic. So
You have me curious. I kind of want to read it.
yeah,
I didn't even realize there was books.
I knew there were books in Mass Effect because I had a friend in college who was a huge Mass Effect fan, and so he had all the books. So I knew they existed. I just didn't know anything about them.
I kind of just assumed it was like as you were talking about it, I was like, is it just rehashing the first one? But you explained quickly it's not. But that's what I would have assumed, is that it's just like going deeper into Mass Effect 1. I guess technically, if it is a prequel, it would kind of go deeper into Mass Effect.
And it's
1.
probably harder to write any kind of adaptation or anything that takes place too closely during the main games because of how you can customize Shepard, especially because Shepard can be a man or a woman.
Kind of MMO effect, right? Like
Yeah.
where you can't like make it too.
Drew Karpyshyn also, I don't know if Filter's still here, but I know how much he disliked it. But Drew Karpyshyn also wrote the Darth Revan book. And in the Darth
I
Revan
refuse
book,
to read that book.
it actually leaves the choice that you made at the end of KOTOR ambiguous. So it doesn't matter which way you ended the book or ended the game, the book still makes sense.
Nice.
So
I feel like it's hard to do enough with that because you can't just be definitive in what the character is. You can only do so much. But part of why I refused to read those books, it might happen to me one day, who knows, but part of the reasons I refuse is because I've heard things here and there and I'm like, nope, my Revan doesn't act like that. So we'll see.
Yeah, let's see my
I don't know if I can handle it.
Up, so there's the Darth Revan book, Drew Karpyshyn. He also wrote the Annihilation book, which is another one in the Old Republic series. I think that one got received a little bit better, but yeah. So yeah. Oh, the book it's 323 pages, and it's not like, it's a pretty quick read. So
yeah, it looks like
same with the Splinter Cell books. They're all pretty quick, so it's not like a huge time investment. Like a 900-page like little itty bitty text. So they're not. If you're an avid reader, it shouldn't take you long to get through them. So, Artemis says, if you enjoyed the Mass Effect book, I would suggest check out the Dragon Age books, starting with The Stolen Throne by David Geider before he went mad. I've not played any of the Dragon Age games, so I don't think I'd be interested in the Dragon Age books. But and Mayla K wants to read Mass Effect, which translates into her community funding her to play Andromeda instead.
No,
I love that idea.
Why would you put that out there? No.
Okay, you've played the main trilogy, right?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I played 1 through 3. I
Okay, so
started-
Andromeda would be proper Suffa then.
I started a bit of Andromeda. I was like, nope.
I
Nope.
forget
Give us
how,
that
but I
idea,
own
man.
it.
I mean,
but
if
never
you like
played it.
Mass Effect 3, then you like the gameplay, I suppose, of Andromeda, right? Because it fits pretty similar, because that's natural evolution.
Look,
So
I don't care if Mr. Krabs is in it. I don't want to play it.
When I played Andromeda, I instantly got a bug where I was just trapped in a circle of people. I'm like, I'm good, I'm out.
I remember all they were all the animations are really bad in that game. They were making fun of how the female player character would run around, and it was set to someone yelling, "Oh, I gotta poop, I gotta poop."
That's funny. So, all right. Well, with that, we'll go ahead and move on to our next topic for tonight. That was actually a bit long-winded, but it's all right with me. So, All right, so next topic on the agenda here is nope, I don't have anything written down, so I don't think anyone gave me this idea, just one that I came up on my own. And this is, if you could only play games from one console, that's a console, PC does not count, that's excluded from this topic because that's kind of a cheating answer.
So I can say Steam Deck, right?
Yeah, does Steam Deck count?
That would be a PC, so no, that would not count.
So I will respect the rules of the question, but Steam Deck to me counts as a console.
So if you could play games from only one console, and back compatibility does not count, it has to be something that's natively playable on the console.
So an actual release, but can it be a port?
Yes, ports and collections would be okay, but emulation would not.
But what if it's like the Wii and the GameCube though? Because that's not emulation; that's natively playable.
That's but that's backwards compatible.
It is backwards compatibility, but I wasn't sure
backwards?
but because of the way he explained it, I wasn't sure what he meant.
Like how I'm interpreting it is like, okay, backwards compatible would be playing a GameCube game on the Wii, but like something like a Sonic Mega Collection on a system that has old Sonic games on it would still be because it's released for that system.
Right, but that's a port. Right? But basically what I'm asking is, does the method of backward compatibility matter?
The spirit of the question was basically games that were released for that console.
Gotcha.
Was
pretty much
idea.
The catalog for that system that was intended as the releases for that
system specific catalog.
Yeah, gotcha. Because it's trying to get the games that were released for that specific console, not including being able to play those on newer pieces of hardware of the same line of hardware. Does that all make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the question essentially is what game library we would play for the rest of our lives? Like,
yes, you could pick one console and you could only play games that were released for that console. Okay. What console would it be? Mm-hmm. So Nightmare Cast jumping in with the Xbox 360, which when I first thought of this question, that was the first thing that hopped into my mind because, in my opinion, the 360 is the best console, not including backwards compatibility. But after thinking about it, I did have to change my answer. But curious if any of you guys have your answer ready to go. If not, I'll go ahead and
I can go first then.
Okay, all right, Nightmare, what do you got?
So I had to think a little bit, but in the end,
all ready to go. Quickly.
Yeah, in the end, I went with the PS2 because that has such a massive library of games that I like. And it was a toss-up for me between basically whether I was going to go with PS2 or PS3. It was going to be one of those two generations. And I figured I'd just go with PS2. Because a lot of the stuff I like from that generation also, there's like GameCube as well, but I figured more of what I would want was on PS2. So, that's kind of to some degree what I grew up with as well, is the PS2, because that had all the some version of all the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man games. It had Batman Begins, which I remember playing. It had and the other part of the problem is, had I gone with PS3, it only has 2 of the main Arkham games. Arkham Knight was only PS4. So
true.
Well, PS4 and that generation.
We had a similar thought process on this Nightmare. Very similar.
Yeah. Now the better version of Spider-Man 3 is on the PS3, but there is still a version of Spider-Man 3 on the PS2 that is still playable too. So you get the entire trilogy there.
If it's any consolation, all the Arkham games were re-released on PS4, I believe.
Yeah, but I mean, PS4 isn't going to have all the other games that I had on PS2.
True.
Right? Mm-hmm. And PS4 has no backwards compatibility as far as I know. So, so PS2 had all that. It had like stuff like, Batman Begins. It had a lot of like PS2, the PS2 and PS3 were both that very like action adventure heavy era of gaming, which is what I really love to play most of the time. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'd go with. And I had a ton of stuff on PS2. They're also like all those SpongeBob games and even the Fairly Odd Parents game. Basically a bunch of games that just tie into stuff that I really liked at the time. And so, with that,
Hassan was right there with you. He says his vote goes to PS2. So you're not alone in that.
Yeah, but he probably doesn't like the games I would choose to play on it.
Probably. So, and Dude says GameCube, so much Zelda and Metroid. That is a good pick. But I wouldn't go with GameCube, even though some of those are my favorite games from those franchises, which are also some of my favorite franchises. There's not enough other stuff on GameCube for me to go with GameCube, but
yeah, PS2. The PS2 is a good like all around console in my opinion.
Okay. What about you, Jay?
So for me, honestly, not too far off from Nightmare. And actually a little bit of what you said too, Neo. Originally, my mind went to the 360 because so I often say that the N64 is my favorite console. And sometimes I'll even joke and say it's the greatest console of all time, just because I know people, it's become like a new thing, or I think a more recent thing where, or maybe I just didn't know because I wasn't exposed to enough the minds of the internet. But apparently a lot of people hate the N64. So I'll kind of troll, just be like, oh, it's the greatest console of all time. And I'll do the whole, oh, but the polygons. And like, I know. But I do love that one. It's a favorite of mine. But, you know, a lot for the games that were fun, but such a nostalgia-based reason for that. But it's not a console I could play, you know, if it was the only one forever.
Okay, because I know how much you love N64, and I thought that was going to be your answer.
Right. So, and I do love it. But again, it's so much of just, they're fun games. There's a ton of nostalgia wrapped up in it. But yeah, I couldn't play just that game library forever. And then
It's a small library, right?
Yeah, that too. It's super extensive.
Yeah,
and the games, like a lot of the games, or the most fun games that I love were the party games that you could play with friends and family and all that kind of stuff. And so like
party games. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I think of the same
I
thing.
heard potty for a second. I was like, wait
Party,
a minute.
Sorry, that's the accent. Sorry. Party.
I knew
You're
it.
good.
I
Party
heard it, but
games.
I knew what you meant.
Yes.
Someone in chat was saying that he sounds more like Mario than Chris Pratt.
That was
does.
James.
That's funny.
He said he was going to call Miyamoto for a recast.
I didn't catch that. That's a good one. But yes, the party games like Mario Party, Mario Kart, all those.
Yeah.
There's just so much fun in that, but it's not as fun when you're playing by yourself, you know, if you're on a desert island with one console. So it couldn't be that. Then I almost said 360 because I actually do believe that is probably the greatest console ever. I just think there was so much to play on that console. And for me, it was the boom of my online gaming career, where I'm now getting online and playing Call of Duty and competitive games like that with my friends. But that still wasn't the answer I wanted to fall on. When I really thought about it, I fell on
Quick, while we're on the topic of 360, because Nightmare Cast asked, what about Xbox Live Arcade games? Xbox arcade games, they were released for the 360, so Xbox Live Arcade games would count as 360 games for this topic. So, and he also said he's an N64 hater. So there's one.
Yeah, see, and that's why I do always have fun calling it the greatest console. It is my favorite, but it doesn't mean it's the greatest. But for me, it's the OG Xbox for similar reasons to Nightmare. One, the game library, especially I'm a big superhero fan, especially superhero games, and there's so many good ones on that. And that's the same era as PS2. A lot of those were on both consoles.
Xbox actually had exclusive Kraven levels in the first Spider-Man game.
Yep, that's true. With the museum there that they were in.
I know that because of Nightmare.
I adore that game, the original Spider-Man movie game, as well as the second. Plus, you just had so many other ones. You had Superman Returns, which I think is a super underrated game for what it was able to do with some of the Superman mechanics.
I have always wanted to play Superman Returns, but I'm waiting for the Xbox 360 emulator to actually emulate it properly.
I played that on 360.
I never had any of the Xbox systems.
I had played it on both, if I recall. I want to say, I could be wrong. I think it was on Xbox. It
was on Xbox 360, and then it was on PS2. Which is a weird combination.
So I may be getting confused on that one. Maybe I played it on 360 and I thought it was on the original Xbox. It may not have been. So aside from that,
I know it was on 360. I don't know if it was on original.
Yeah,
Xbox.
I could.
It was not. It was on PS2, and then So it is such a weird release way that they did it. For some reason, the lower quality version was on PS2, and then the HD version was on 360. I don't know why they did that.
Regardless, it's a fun game. So if you do get the chance to play it, I recommend it. It's not great, but it handled the concept of a Superman game in an interesting way, where like the cities, your health bar.
I was just going to mention
which I think I'm like, okay, that's really interesting. So they gave a good attempt, but the flying mechanics and even some of the speed running, super speed mechanics were kind of interesting. But again, just such a big library. All my Splinter Cell games would be on there. Plus a ton of just like the random games you used to play. Like there was a Shrek game I used to play as a kid that I would love to play again. Your SpongeBob games. Now I'm getting confused with PS2 and Xbox in this. Was X-Men Legends, were those games on both consoles, or was that just PS2?
X-Men Legends, at least I know X-Men Legends 2, I'm pretty sure was on PS2 and Xbox 3. Actually,
I thought they were both on both, but I could be wrong. It's so hard to remember back then. I should have.
Because I know for a fact that Marvel Ultimate Alliance was on both PS2 and PS3, but I don't know if it was on original Xbox. It might have been only on the 360.
That could be right. Again, that era.
See, this is why
feels so
PC
long
is
ago.
best, because I can play almost everything on PC.
Fair enough. But regardless, just,
okay, so
again,
X-Men Legends, at the very least, X-Men Legends 2 was on the original Xbox and not the 360.
I thought so. Which is
Yeah.
why I wanted to lean, because I'm like, I remember it being lined up with the PS2 era. So I was pretty sure, and I played it on both because my cousin had PS2 and I had Xbox. So I knew I had played it on both. I just couldn't remember exactly. Sometimes it's hard to remember which console it was versus just the years it came out. But those were great games. I love the first one, honestly, a lot. I wish I could actually play that now.
Did you ever play Marvel Ultimate Alliance, though?
I did. Oh, I loved Ultimate Alliance.
That is my favorite of those
right?
games.
And that was
no, that's what I was saying.
Software, I believe.
Yeah,
as well.
So that's what I was saying. Is it the same developers and everything? But since that's like the full Marvel cast
roster,
and,
right?
Yeah, and it came after the others, I think, as well. And on top of that, Ultimate Alliance was on PS2, PS3. It was on 360. I'm not sure about original Xbox.
Yeah, I don't think it made original.
Yeah, so it was on a ton of systems. It was great.
But again, another great game, and I love those kind of superhero games. Ultimate Spider-Man, I think, is a super underrated Spider-Man game.
It's a neat one, and it's weird because they had to do a bunch of weird nonsense to make it actually fit back into the original comic that it was based on.
Right. I actually just watched a little documentary video on that recently, so funny you bring that up. And then just, again, random titles, your Simpsons Hit and Runs, your Midnight Club 2, Need for Speed Underground 2, like just all these different games. There's just so much on that console for me. And
it had stuff like Batman Begins, and I don't know if the Xbox had it,
which is an underrated Batman game. Again, I know PS.
It's a very.
That
it is the best non-Arkham Batman game by far. I don't know if
I'd feel comfortable saying that. Yep.
If I don't know if these games made it to Xbox, I know they're on PS2 and GameCube, but there were some DC Animated Universe games that were on that era of consoles. So Batman Vengeance, Superman Shadow of Apocalypse, which is not a terrible game. It's not amazing, but it's not terrible.
Yeah.
There were a couple others too.
That was like, it was a point where you almost had like a little bit of saturation in the superhero game market. So you'd get some that were terrible, but because you had that, bit of saturation, there was fortunately a lot of good. There was probably more good than bad at that point.
Yeah.
Then you'd start to shift into where movie games became more of a marketing gimmick that was just kind of,
But that also gave us Spider-Man 2, the best Spider-Man game of all time.
So those are the ones I would still consider high quality. It was shortly after that you started to get just those movie tie-ins that were just horribly done. Because even before that, when you go to like the PS1 Disney games, your Tarzans, your Hercules, A Bug's Life, like those were good movie tie-in games. So there was a good stretch of those for a while. And then around like 06, I'd almost say once they turned to the next generation, your 360 generation, is when they really started to just kind of crap those things out as just a part of marketing, and they weren't really giving it a good effort to make a good game. But yeah, you're right. I think Spider-Man 1 and 2, the movie games, are two of my favorite, and possibly I'd say 2 is quite arguably the best Spider-Man game. I know people will probably go for Spider-Man 2018 quite a bit, but I
still like
number
the
2, and I would call that the best Spider-Man game of all time. And
I think 3 is still very good.
Yeah, it felt a bit copy paste and a bit. That felt like the start of, okay, we're just going to kind of crap these out, but it was still good enough.
I have to give it a ton of credit for one thing. The PS3 and PS2 versions were different, right?
Yes.
So the PSP version of the game is actually a cut down version of the PS2 version. So they actually took a full, and I had it because I had Spider-Man 3 on like probably 3-4 different consoles. I had the PSP version of Spider-Man 3, and whereas Spider-Man 2 on PSP played like Spider-Man 1 on PS2, Spider-Man 3 on PSP was literally a smaller version of Spider-Man 3 on PS2. And so they actually managed to squeeze an entire open world free roaming Spider-Man game onto the PSP, which is pretty amazing considering that was like 2007.
Fair enough, honestly.
Nice. Yeah. So Nerdtex mentioned a minute ago, how how video game or movie based games were pretty terrible. There's one outlier of that, where the game was far better than the movie around that time. That's the one that Nightmare Cast mentioned. X-Men Oranges.
Yes.
Wolverine.
Oranges.
I'm assuming that was a
Oranges.
typo, but he meant
No,
X-Men
that-
Origins Wolverine.
100%.
That game is awesome.
Yeah,
There's
it's a good
lot
game.
of good
It is.
movie-based games. I miss them.
Yeah, I need to play
well,
that.
I was just saying that recently, Kay. Like that whole genre just died and went away like overnight, and everybody.
Well, it
forgot
died
that was
because
a
they went
thing.
over to mobile
but-
games. Because
Oh,
by the
yeah,
time
that's a good point,
2012
huh?
Avengers and all that stuff rolled around, like you still had the Amazing Spider-Man games. Coming
Yeah,
out.
those were the last Spider-Man games until 2018.
Yeah, and the 2018 game actually very strongly copies those games. By the way,
Oh,
I don't
really?
think a lot
Those
of
are
people
actually
realize
some that I
yeah.
never played. I never
No.
got my hands on those two. Was it two or was it just one Amazing Spider-Man game?
No,
for
both of them.
Andrew Garfield?
Both
Oh, they did-
2012
they
and
did too?
2014. Yep.
I didn't
The,
realize they did too.
I
Yeah,
think
you
it's
can,
around that time, but the Activision Spider-Man games around that time.
Yeah,
I
they were-
think
they-
pretty good.
They were
Yeah.
Activision. Yeah.
Mhm.
Everything up through Amazing Spider-Man 2 was Activision, but they switched
Okay.
developers from Treyarch to Beanox
Oh, okay.
after Web of Shadows.
Well, they
Okay.
had Shattered Dimensions, Web of Shadows.
No,
did you
no,
ever-
Shattered Dimensions was Beanox.
Oh, was it? Oh, I didn't realize that.
And oddly enough, the same writer who I hate did Shattered Dimensions, who did Spider-Man 2018. But Shattered Dimensions was actually decent.
Yeah, for
unlike,
sure.
Yeah.
The only
I just
one
played
of that
Web
era,
Shadows last year.
yeah, Web of Shadows is good. I really
Web of
like.
Shadows is great. The writing is bad, and Spider-Man's voice is terrible. But overall, it's a fun game.
Gameplay's fun.
Yeah,
the
gameplay's
only
great.
one of that era that I didn't play that I just didn't. It didn't appeal to me just from the look of it was Friend or Foe. I just wasn't interested in that.
Oh,
game. I don't know
I
if you
played
remember
Friend or
Spider-Man
Foe.
I
It's-
wasn't interested in it.
It's fine, but it's not like it's definitely the kind of game that I would expect to be more on a handheld than anywhere else.
Yeah, fair
It-
enough.
Yeah, it was. I wasn't a huge fan of that one. But dude says, I wish X-Men Origins PS3 had a trophy to get for another reason to play it again.
I
Yeah.
need to play X-Men Origins Wolverine. Like I have it
game
downloaded
was
somewhere,
awesome.
but I never
There
got around to
was
playing it.
there was even a decently fun movie tie-in for X-Men 3, the movie. You basically played, I think it was just Wolverine, Iceman, and Nightcrawler. It was almost nothing to do with the movie story-wise, if I recall, but I actually even had fun with that. But that was when you were starting to turn the corner from, oh man, these movie games can actually be pretty damn good, to, oh, it feels like this one's kind of just being put.
They kind of phoned it in. Yeah,
Like this isn't really great, but this
they did a
has
Green Lantern one too
recognizable
that I
stuff.
never played.
Oh, did they for the Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah,
Green Lantern? Oh God,
I think I saw James tweet about it the other day.
Yeah,
saying
it's
he
on
wanted
my
to play it.
shelf somewhere
Yeah.
back there.
I've never heard of that. Never played. I didn't know
It was called
existed.
Rise of the Manhunters.
Oof.
But yeah, even if you guys were, I don't know if any of you guys were into Harry Potter back in the day, but Harry Potter had some fantastic.
Those
movie
were good
tie-in
too.
Games.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm telling you, man, movie tie-in games for a while were like quality, good games, and there's a lot of nostalgia wrapped in those for people.
Yeah, I mean the
It's
fifth
just
one.
they took a nosedive in quality out of nowhere.
Order of the Phoenix. Like there's Hogwarts Legacy, of course, which is like now a big,
Mhm.
big open world roaming and stuff. A lot of that game takes place outside of the school though.
Mhm.
But Harry Potter, the fifth one, Order of the Phoenix, was like a very small version of that, where you could free roam around the Hogwarts school castle.
Mhm.
So it was very cool, and the Wii version of it was very cool because it made use of the motion controls. So you'd wave around the Wiimote like you were waving a wand. So that was
That's
a lot of
cool.
fun.
Yeah.
Oh, Nightmare Cast mentioned one that I haven't played, but I want to. The Deadpool game.
Yeah, I have the
Yeah,
Deadpool game. I
incredible
played
game.
it. It's
It's good.
great.
It's good. It's
My
fun.
only complaint about the Deadpool game is that you don't get enough Psylocke in it.
Yeah. My complaint is that it's delisted, so you can't buy it digitally.
All of
because
that,
copies
all
are
of
really
Activision's
expensive.
Marvel
Yeah.
titles are
I
listed on
had-
Steam.
I had purchased it on Xbox years ago, just before it got delisted. And for a while, I wasn't able to access it still. But then recently, because I switched to PC a few years ago when I started doing YouTube, and I plugged in my Xbox Series S and just loaded it up to see what was still on that library. And it was available to play. And I was like, oh, I had no idea this was available to play again, or why I wasn't able to play it, even though I had purchased it before it got delisted.
If
But I
you
actually
purchase-
restarted that one not that long ago.
If you purchase anything digitally on Xbox, even if it gets delisted, you can still re-download it. But you might, the only way to get it though, you might have to go back through your download history and re-download it that way. So it can be tedious to get to, but you still have access to it.
And maybe that's what had happened, where it felt like a while where like I wasn't able to play. It might have just been my own foolishness of not realizing I had to go, work a little harder to find it and download it. But there was a stretch where after it got delisted, I hadn't seen it in my library and didn't play it. And then all of a sudden one day I loaded up, it popped back on. I was like, oh, great. I gave it a download. It's still just as fun this time around. It's a simple game. It really is, but it's a lot of fun.
Thankfully, I still have it on Steam. Like I bought it way back around the time it came out, so I'll always have, as long as nothing happens to Steam, I'll always have that game.
Right.
You can still find physical copies cycling around though.
Yeah,
I've seen them like, GameStops and stuff. They're not like super hard to find.
I mean,
There
you
was
can
a-
even find
pricey.
copies on the internet if you really.
I was going to
want play
say
it.
there was a stretch where, because there was a point where I wanted to actually play it, not realizing I had it on the Xbox still. And I think I checked eBay and the price was like sky high because it got delisted.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not.
Yep.
It was a fun game, but it wasn't that fun. I'm not paying that much.
Yep.
So it was nice
exactly.
to find it back in my library one day.
So, and yeah, dude also mentioned something that I was thinking about while you were talking about the movie tie-ins is that Lego cannibalized a lot of the movie tie-ins.
It totally
That's
did.
a good point. That's a really good point.
I don't want to go on a rant about Lego, but yes, Lego.
I don't like those games. I'm sorry.
Me
people.
neither.
If you like them, I mean no offense, but I just can't get into them. And it feels like it just waters down every IP that I love into the same game over
Thank
and
you.
over again. And
Yes,
I
they
can't.
really do feel so.
I get no
formulaic.
joy out of that.
I think the only Lego game I played was the Lego Star Wars 2, and that covered the original trilogy.
It depends on the Lego game. I actually liked Skywalker Saga quite a bit, and I am excited for the Lego Batman game. But
That one
apparently
does
it's
look
blasphemy
good.
because I haven't played the Arkham Knight stuff or anything yet, so I have to like play that before I'm allowed to play the.
I mean, I don't think.
I'm
you
curious.
could play the
Nightmares.
Lego one.
Yeah, I don't
and
think you
then you could
have
play
to.
Arkham. 'cause
No,
then,
I'm getting married to someone who is adamant that
I
have
would
to do that.
recommend
It's not
it.
even
Yeah.
about continuity.
I would
it's just-
definitely recommend
no,
it. for
because
sure.
the Lego game is gonna have nothing to do with the Arkham games. I don't even know if they're
No,
there's gonna be
100%.
any-
I think it's
There's
gonna
no
draw on
continuity
some of it.
reason. There's no like you have.
Like
to
in my opinion, there is no
chronologically
way that the
know.
Lego game will ever surpass the Arkham games. So I'm saying you could play the Lego game and then you could just play the Arkham games later and be like, oh, these are really amazing, you know?
I would
get yelled
recommend
at
just
if
for
I
the
do
sake
that.
of it playing those games because they're awesome. They're some of my favorite games. Arkham City is my favorite game of all time.
I think Arkham Knight is my favorite, but like picking one of the 3 Arkham games is so hard.
It
because
is.
They're
It
so
is.
amazing in their
And
own
it's
way.
like something's got to finish in last by default, and I always
Yeah.
feel bad placing something there because it's like it's
I just
last,
throw
but not
Origins in
because
that
of-
spot. Like, you know
I
what? It's
usually do
Origins,
too.
Kevin
I
Conroy.
do too.
Yeah, Kevin Conroy's not even in it, so you know what? Origins,
Yeah,
there you go.
I usually always put Origins last.
Arkham City is my favorite, but I do enjoy all of them, including Origins. But that I hadn't thought about that. Nightmare, given your affinity for Batman, but disdain for Lego, what's your thought? Are you the Lego Batman game that's coming?
I
what
mean,
are
I'm
your-
not going to bother because it seems like it's very heavily about the live action movies, and I don't like any of the live action movies that much. So
Okay.
So I'll say, as also a big Batman fan who's not a Lego game person, that's actually the one that looks a little bit interesting to me. I feel like it just looks like it expands a bit on game mechanics than your standard Lego games, and maybe that's just the trailer tricking me, and I'll be disappointed if I buy it and try it. But I'm actually interested in that one. I will say I thought it looked a lot more interesting than most Lego games.
I probably won't play it, but I am intrigued by it. But Nightmare Cast actually brought something up that I totally forgot about, saying the only Lego game I like is Lego Rock Band. I play Lego Rock Band, so I played 2 Lego games. I forgot about that.
I didn't even
like
know that was a
one.
thing.
yeah, same. I'd never even heard of that.
Yeah, I'm only missing one achievement, and I think it was because you have to like 100% on expert, like this really difficult guitar solo. It's the only achievement I wasn't able to get. But hey, Crazy Landlow's here. What's up, Crazy Landlow? Saying Arkham Asylum is his favorite.
Arkham Asylum definitely has the
That's a
best
good choice.
atmosphere.
Yeah, that's a good. 100%. It's totally different than the other 2 games, and just gives you
I
this
was actually really
intimate,
disappointed.
creepy vibe. It's very, very well done.
I was actually a little bit disappointed when Scarecrow took kind of a little bit of a back seat in Arkham Knight because I mean how great he was in Arkham Asylum, and then with the change that they made to Scarecrow in Arkham Knight, making him actually even more terrifying of a
Right.
presence. It's disappointing in a sense that they didn't make more use of his scary.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fair. That's fair.
All right, getting back on track here. Let's go to Kay, because I'm really curious on what your answer to this topic would be, because it could be literally anything. I have no idea where you're going to go with this one.
I can't say Steam Deck, so that will not be my answer. Even though if I was on a desert island, it's probably what I'd bring with me. I often say that if I were to introduce somebody to gaming and only give them one console for the rest of their life, that it would be either the SNES or the PS2. And I always recommend that to people who are fed up with modern gaming. And I say, just go into one of those two libraries. You have an infinite amount of games and you'll be able to be happy forever. So you don't have to worry about new releases. I almost said the Switch because so many of my favorite games have been ported to the Switch, and I also like the fact that you can play it like on the go and play it on a TV. And then, of course, everyone knows I'm obsessed with the Genesis, and I almost said that because that's what got me into video games, and that was a big obsession for me. And I went through all of those in my brain, and I went through the Dreamcast as well, and I was like, well, I love the Dreamcast so much. I have settled on the GameCube after a lot of thinking through all of that conversation. I was not thinking about this before today, obviously. I was thinking about it 20 minutes before the show or whatever. I kind of glanced over and saw that one question.
So I think we've now covered that entire generation.
I was just going to say, yeah, we hit that whole era.
The determination for me, because I was working through and I was like, I love the original Xbox, and the PS2 is like an obvious answer to me because there's so much in the library. And the reason why I settled on the GameCube is because it has my favorite Pokemon game, which is Pokemon Coliseum. It has my favorite Zelda game, which is Wind Waker. It has my favorite Mario Kart game, which is Double Dash. It has my favorite Smash Bros, which is Melee. It has a few of my favorite Mario games, like Thousand Year Door, one of the only games I give a 10 out of 10 score to. It has Sunshine, which I love. Like, I can just continue. Soul Calibur 2, that's my favorite version of Soul Calibur 2 alongside the Spawn version with original Xbox. But I love both of those Soul Caliburs. So for me, it's like I just was working down the library list in my brain, and I was like, the GameCube just at the end of the day makes sense because the amount, like, that's my favorite hockey game is on the GameCube, which is NHL Hits 2002. Like, down to every genre, I could probably find like my favorite game. So at Fire Emblem, it's not my favorite Fire Emblem, but there's also an excellent one on there.
Three Houses is on GameCube?
No.
I was
one
thinking
of the last good Fire Emblems is on there. Path of Radiance.
What was Three Houses for?
Switch, isn't it?
Oh,
Switch,
okay.
Yeah.
I think I can, if nothing else, I think I can probably say GameCube is arguably my favorite Nintendo console.
It's an excellent console. Like, even F-Zero. That's my favorite F-Zero. GX.
It's also the last F-Zero.
For Sonics, it's not my favorite Sonic, but I would argue one of my favorite 3D Sonic, Sonic Adventure 2.
06.
Adventure 2.
No.
No. Before they rebooted it, though, there were great ones. There's Sonic Adventure 2. Oh, well, the Sonic games are on multiple consoles, but yeah, there's Sonic Adventure 2. I still like Sonic Heroes. Shadow the Hedgehog. I know there's all the squawking about Shadow the Hedgehog, but I think it's still pretty great.
I like Sonic or Shadow the Hedgehog as well.
Yeah.
I just am working in my brain. I'm like Eternal Darkness. That's
I see Landlow mentioned Mario Party 6. Yeah, Mario Party 6. And I think 7 is also on GameCube.
I don't really care for the GameCube Mario parties. I think the Switch ones have kind of been a good return to form, and they work really well on the Switch. But I always go back to the N64 as my favorites. But I mean, the Mario parties are decent on there. Like, that's fine. I mean, I've Gauntlet Dark Legacy I can play on the GameCube as well. There's so much. There's so much that it's kind of a no-brainer for me in the games that I naturally gravitate to. And they have ported games that I really like as well. Like Crazy Taxi is on there, so I'm good there. They do have like a Sonic collection on there. I'm doing this off the top of my head, so I'm gonna miss games, obviously. But like, even like for The Sims, I like The Sims 2. That's the only Sims game I like. Out of all the Animal Crossings, it's probably the best Animal Crossing. So
is that the first one?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's the original, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. It's the first one I played. I'm not sure if there's been.
I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure that was the first Animal Crossing.
Yeah, because GameCube was the follow-up to N64, and there was no Animal Crossing for that. So yeah.
So I guess the major thing I'm missing on the GameCube is really a Donkey Kong game. Like, I have Donkey Konga. That's like the one thing I'm missing. And then if we're going on a like
Jungle Beat was also on GameCube, wasn't it?
What was Donkey Kong?
Yeah, I think there was two. There was.
I know Doodle.
Names of them.
Doodle, he's always telling me about the Donkey Kong games that I forget exist.
But like for Sonic, I have Heroes as well, which is another one that I love.
It was the Wii.
Yeah, I could keep thinking of games, and then if I'm going off of games that I haven't like gotten to play through yet that I really want to, well, the one big series, and I actually of all things got sold from the newest iteration, Metroid Prime. I played Metroid Prime 4 for a couple of hours, and I was like, "Look, I'm annoyed by some of the stuff in this, but this gameplay feels great. I want to go back and play the original Metroid Prime now." And that was the one major thing I
Do
missed in the
it.
GameCube era. I was buying like almost every release for the GameCube when it came out. Like that was like a time in gaming where I was there all the time. But I actually really want to go back and play Metroid Prime 1 because I think I don't know how much it compares to Metroid Prime 4. I don't have any reference on that. I've only
So
played
much
Super
better.
Metroid really, but I thought the gameplay felt great. So if the gameplay feels similar, I'm sold on that. That's the only reason I would play Metroid Prime 4 even is the gameplay. I thought the gameplay was fun. Um,
Yeah, the gameplay they did pretty well in Prime 4. It was all the other stuff that was a disappointment.
Here's the crazy part. I've gone through this entire list, and as I was saying all of that, I didn't mention my literal favorite game of all time, Tales of Symphonia, which is also a GameCube game.
Oh, okay.
So it's like it's just has to be my answer. It has to be the GameCube. So
Okay. And there, dude came in saying Donkey Kong Jungle Beat and Donkey Konga were on GameCube. So
was there a Wii one as well, dude? I feel like I remember was it a bridge game? Like they re-released it for the Wii, or there is a Wii one I don't know. I didn't really play through the Donkey Konga games. Like it's one of those games that's just casual for me. So.
And he also mentioned that GBA, there was a Game Boy Advance F-Zero game that came out after GX, and so
and we have a 99 as well.
99, but
I was gonna say, didn't they just do something for the Switch that's like
it's
almost like a battle royale, right?
That's
Okay,
F-Zero 99.
F-Zero 99 is a touchy thing to count because it's really just recycling old levels from the
Oh, I
original
see.
stuff and going
Mhm.
through. So you could argue I would argue it's a new game in the same way that I would argue like Pac-Man 99 is technically a
Mhm.
new game and
Yes.
everything. But some people might argue that that's just rehashing
Yeah.
old levels doesn't count. But the Game Boy Advance one he's mentioning, it was actually decent.
There were actually
so-
two, but I'm not sure exactly which one he's referring to. I have one of them, F-Zero Maximum Velocity, and I got really good at this one.
I think that's the one I played. It's a blur.
There
for
was
me,
another
but yeah.
one that I didn't even know about until a few months ago, so I just don't know which one came out before or after GX.
Yeah. So yeah, to me, the GameCube is an easy answer, and there's a lot of the movie-based games ended up being ported on there. Some of my favorite James Bond games are even on the GameCube.
Yes, I forgot to mention those for Xbox.
Nightfire?
But Nightfire, yeah, I agree
Yeah.
100%. Some of those games were amazing, and those were all that era. This
Yeah.
might have been a golden era. I'm not saying it's the only golden era of gaming, but this generation, I mean, we just went through them: PS2, Xbox, now GameCube. That was a really, really good era of gaming.
I don't
Yeah,
know, like
it was.
in the way of history, if people will remember that as the best era of gaming, but to me, in the age group I'm in, that will be for me
Yeah.
personally.
Mhm.
But I appreciate like going back to the arcade and SNES and all that stuff too. Like I appreciate all of
Oh,
that
for sure.
era of gaming, and I think it's a very powerful argument to say the SNES is like the best system of all time. But for me personally, I felt the best gaming with the original Xbox, GameCube,
Mhm.
PS2, and like just the energy around everything with culture and everything as well. Like to me, that is always like that 2002 area
Mhm.
is like
And that's
unforgettable to me.
such a good point you mentioned the culture too, because I do agree. I mean, I think like anything, the era you grow up in is always going to feel the best and the most nostalgic to you for the most part. You'll have your SNES people and even your NES people, the arcade, like you said. But the culture around it, I think, is a great point because that's when we used to get like G4 TV, the big E3, all that was a huge event. And, everybody was tuned in if you were a gamer, at least to see what was being announced at E3. You're watching, Attack of the Show and Cheat and all these things on G4 TV. So yeah, it really felt like the era where games became, I don't want to say, because I didn't live in the 80s and all that, so I can't say it wasn't cool to play video games, but it felt like a change in culture for gamers in gaming where it was like, oh, this is more than just like, oh yeah, it's like a nerdy hobby. Like, no, this is something really cool that a lot of people are interested in. And like, there's a big, big audience for this and a big community for it. So that's a really great way to put it. I didn't even think of that.
And it's a bit of
was
a
like
double-edged sword, though, too, when you think about it, because as amazing as it is to have more people playing games, it also means a lot of people getting into games who probably shouldn't have gotten into games, and then,
Obviously, the
taking over.
gaming industry has gotten larger over time. We can't really deny that because we know how
Mhm.
mainstream it is now. But I do
Well, it's bigger
think
than
that
Hollywood.
like I think like also some of us might underestimate how big arcades were at the time
Mhm.
as well.
Mhm.
Like that, but I think like video games were considered more of an accessory of the events that were going on. Like people would go out to a restaurant or a bar or whatever, and they'd go play arcade games. Whereas the thing with the early 2000s that was special was that it kind of changed the attitude and made it like a rebellious nature to be a gamer as well. And it was kind of like that was the badge, was being the gamer. And like gaming before that was like obviously there was the era of like you'd be a geek into gaming and you would like really enjoy it and you'd be like good with computers and everything. And there was that era of like everyone and their mother knew what Pac-Man was. But the thing with the early 2000s, it was like I'm drinking Mountain Dew and I'm going to become a
Yeah.
skateboarder because of Tony Hawk, and Master Chief is the
Uh-huh.
coolest thing in the world, and like I'm a badass, and we're laughing at everything, and
Mhm.
it was like even influencing down to like haircuts and stuff. Like I felt like being a gamer was at the forefront of it in that early 2000s area. You felt like a rebel to like the mainstream garbage of movies and everything else, and it was slowly skyrocketing, and more people were like kind of getting on the ship with us.
Mhm.
So that's the key difference to me. And now, unfortunately, with the industry, it's kind of like everyone is consuming video games. Therefore, everyone is influencing it with the internet and
Mhm.
changing it very quickly and making it so that it's more sanitized and corporate.
Mhm.
You know, I wanted to be a rebel, but my parents wouldn't let me.
Well, that's such a great point because it does feel a little bit like when gaming got its attitude. You remember the old Crash Bandicoot commercials and video game commercials in general were edgy and kind of sometimes bizarre and just the weirdest things that
They
were
were
like,
fun.
yeah, right. It wasn't this kind of corporate feel of. It's like when McDonald's used to be like fun and have colors inside and
And now it's just depressing.
and now
gray
everything's
commie
just
blocks.
everything's a Starbucks. Everything looks exactly
Everything's
the
a
same.
Chipotle.
Yeah, same concept. Like it's all got that minimalist, the grays and the blacks and the whites coloring and your beiges, like that minimalist appearance, and everything looks fancy and nice, like it's out of a catalog, versus having the old, the Ronald McDonald sitting on a bench, like the plaster model of a Ronald McDonald sitting on a bench.
Well, they've
with all
gotten
the
rid of
colors and
Ronald
all that
McDonald
stuff.
almost entirely.
Yeah,
I
he's
think.
not even a spokesperson for or a mascot for the company anymore. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what I feel like happened a little bit. That's a great
Well,
point.
yeah, we went from getting all those cool, innovative game commercials to now. I mean, you guys remember when Doom Eternal was coming out? And this is Doom Eternal, a game with one
And
of
the
the
rap
greatest
music?
soundtracks of all time. Yeah, that's what exactly it.
I don't even
Yep.
remember.
They
Well, that
did
was
a
awful.
Doom Eternal commercial with some awful rap that ends in someone going, "We're gay" or something like that.
The worst one I felt,
Oh,
and
I've
I don't
never-
even
never
have a
heard it.
skin in the game with it, is Mortal Kombat having rap. There was something about that felt so off to me. Yeah, it's the rap trend.
But I
that's
mean, this
also
is
getting
Doom
trailers.
Eternal, like one of the most metal games of all time.
Yeah.
With one of the greatest
But
metal
what
video
are
game
you
soundtracks of all
doing?
time,
It's
and you
good thing it-
advertise it with a terrible rap.
Good thing the game was awesome.
Well, and it
Yeah, it
seems
was.
like, and maybe this is just me who doesn't watch enough, cable television with commercials like that anymore. But like, I don't even know that. Like, do we really get video game commercials anymore? We just getting launch trailers and release trailers.
We
at
get
this
'em
point?
occasionally.
Like, do we still?
I-
Okay, fair enough. I don't.
It's not
know.
common, but you do see. Usually, it's for like something like Call of Duty.
Yeah,
but
yeah. Oh,
there
yeah.
are
Like the
occasional
celebrity
ones.
filled commercials that they do and all that.
I
Like,
remember there was
okay,
this
that's
awful
fair.
one. Yeah, with like I think Robert Downey Jr. was in one.
Yeah,
And it was just a
they've
bad
like,
commercial.
so many have been in them. But there's no like the Crash Bandicoot mascot and the old Nintendo and Sega commercials, and
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
nothing like that anymore. Now it's just
Nothing.
like, oh, you do your, and then, like it's fine, I guess. I mean, you do your trailers or
I
you
have
know,
seen
whatever,
like
but
some.
it's just not
was
the
it
same.
was it the Sonic Colors remaster that came out a year ago or so or something like that? There were ads for
Horrible
that,
remaster.
and they were incredibly generic. Like they weren't bad, but they weren't anything special either.
Mhm.
We did a top 5 video game commercials one time, and Jason and I think both. I know we both had it at the same number. I want to say it was number 3. We both had the original Smash Bros. Commercial.
Oh my god, that's
Yeah,
so
that is
good.
iconic in itself. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Man, if I were on that, I would have said She Kicks High, which is that Dead or Alive one.
That was on the list. I don't. I
Oh,
think
really?
that I'll pull it up here, but I think that
Yeah,
was
She
on
Kicks
Jason's
High
list.
is one of my
She Kicks
favorite
High.
ones ever. And I put that in one of our like Melee Award shows because I just love that commercial so much.
That was
but
Mortal Kombat, right? Or
Dead or
was it
Alive.
Oh,
Dead
that
or
was
Alive, yeah.
Jason's number 4. Was
Yeah,
She
it's
Kicks
so
High? I
good.
remember that one because I had
Mm.
never seen it before that top 5.
Nerd Takes, if you're looking for a modern trailer that kind of hits all that stuff of the old school things, I'd say the last thing I can remember that was good was the Battlefield 6 trailer. I felt like that got me like really excited for gaming
Okay, I'll
again.
have to
And
check
it was
that out.
like early 2000s like military propaganda type trailer. if you were into like all those kinds of games and like even the 360 era, that's the closest I've felt to like that old school storytelling in a trailer.
Well, fair enough. I'll have to check that out.
Devastator's in chat. What is up, Devastator? Good to see you. And Crazy Dino says, I like Chipotle. He wasn't, I don't think he was bashing the food. He was just saying that McDonald's now look.
I'm talking about the style.
The
like
problem
the
is
architectural style
now
of
when you
Chipotle.
walk into a McDonald's, you don't know if you're McDonald's, Starbucks, or Chipotle. It's all it just all looks the same.
Generic buildings. They have no character to them anymore.
Yeah.
So, let's see here. And dude did say that Donkey Kong Barrel Blast was on Wii. So that might have been what you were thinking about. So, all right. So I was going to mention while Jay was talking about the original Xbox, me being a big Xbox guy, I actually didn't play a lot of games on the original Xbox. I only had a small handful of games because at the time I was a PC gamer. So most of the games that were on Xbox, I played those versions on PC. So actual games I played on the original Xbox were very small. So, so, all right. So as for mine, as I mentioned at the beginning, when I thought about it, for a half second, 360 was the first thing that came into mind. But after I gave it some thought, I did have to change my answer to a not very popular answer, especially since this is kind of where the downfall of Xbox started. I would have to go with Xbox One because looking at like just my top 10 games of all time, 6 of them were either released on Xbox One or had a re-release of the game on Xbox One. So let's see here. Let me pull that up again real quick. So the Mass Effect Legendary Edition.
Yeah, I assumed Legendary Edition
is one of them. Both Ori games, Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal. Halo 3 is in my top 10, but we have the Master Chief Collection, which has basically everything in Halo that counts. Except I haven't played Infinite yet, so I can't say, but I would have no problem never playing Halo 5 again, since that was Halo 5 was Xbox One as well, so that wouldn't.
Yeah, it was.
It just wasn't in the Master Chief Collection, but it would count for Xbox One, and I guess Halo Infinite was also an Xbox One game as well, so I could play basically all of them.
You could literally play all Halo on the Xbox,
is Infinite that old? Was it on that generation too? Jeez.
I'm pretty sure it was on original or not original.
It very well could have been. That's just blowing my mind. I didn't realize it was old enough to be on the last gen.
Was it a Series X or only game or no? It's
no, you
Xbox
can play
One.
all of them on the Xbox One.
Yeah,
terrible naming conventions, but yeah, you can play on the Xbox One.
I just can't believe that much time's already gone by. It feels like Halo Infinite came out not that long ago. Wow.
Yeah, dude says we still need to finish 5. We do. We will. But you got the Halos. My favorite Super Nintendo games of all time, Mega Man X 1, 2, and 3. The entire X series got a collection on Xbox One. Mega Man X's 1 through 8. And also original Mega Man 1 through 10, even though I'm not a huge fan of those. But go ahead.
Neo, you and I both noticed this separately, that they don't port a lot of the Mega Man games anymore to Xbox. Like they'll release collections and they'll put it on other systems, and Capcom will not put stuff on the Xbox.
So I don't think the most recent one that was announced, I don't think it's been released yet, but it's the Mega Man Star Force collection. They've said that it is coming to Xbox whenever it releases.
That'd be
I'm
nice.
still pissed off though that I have every Mega Man collection that's been released has been on Xbox except for one, and that's the Mega Man Battle Network collection.
Yeah.
It was not released on Xbox. So I basically have all of the Mega Man games on Xbox One. Except for Battle Network.
They didn't do the ZX collection either, I don't think, because those are the two I mainly care about. Is Battle Network? Oh, did they put ZX on there as well?
Yeah. So
good. Okay, yeah.
It has Mega Man Zeros 1 through 4, ZX, and ZX Advent all in one collection.
Okay, perfect. Okay, good. Yeah, but Battle Network is such an oversight, and I am excited for Star Force because I think that was Japan only. Wasn't it?
I'm pretty sure that
or it might have been
here.
DX game or something. I didn't touch it. I thought it was Japan only.
So the Star Force games are because all 6 of the Battle Network games were on Game Boy Advance.
Yeah.
And then the 3 Star Force games, although there's more than that because each one had more than one version, kind of like Pokemon. They have red and blue. That a lot of the Battle Network games did that split thing just like Pokemon. But there's technically 3 Star Force games, and they were all DS games.
Yeah,
I've not actually played those ones, but I do plan to pick up that collection at some point. So, but yeah, so we've got all the Halo games, got basically all the Mega Man games are on Xbox One, and then also Subnautica. Both Subnauticas, I freaking love Subnautica. So that is just the list of games that are on my top 10 favorite games of all time that have a version that were released on Xbox One. Let me pull up a quick list here of some of my favorite Xbox games. I had it pulled up and then I closed it because I'm a dum-dum. All of the Arkham games had an Xbox One version except for Origins, but I'd be willing to sacrifice that because while I do like it, I definitely agree that it is the weakest in the franchise. The best Just Cause game was on Xbox One. That's Just Cause 3. I know Nightmare is a big fan of that one. Let's see here. I already mentioned both Ori's. Oh, one of my other favorite Metroidvanias, Shadow Complex, had an Xbox One version as well, as did Skyrim and Oblivion. Although, actually, hold on. No, not Oblivion. That one is Series X only, so scrap that one. But Skyrim had an Xbox One version as well. So I could go on and on about other games that I absolutely love that were on the original Xbox One, not the Series X, but the Oblivion remaster. That was a Series X only game, so that would not count. But yeah, so that's just some of my favorite games, and they're on Xbox. They were all on Xbox One, so I would have to go with Xbox One, which surprised me when I actually thought about it. I'm like, yeah, I got to go with it because there's so many games that I love that are on Xbox One. So,
as bad of a launch of a console as that was, and I guess just overall console, and like you said, it kind of was the beginning of the end at least the beginning of the downfall for Xbox. There was still a lot of good on that console, so I would agree that that's still a pretty good choice. I know, obviously, in comparison to the ones around it at that time, it got memed a bit, but the Kinect thing was obviously a bit of a misfire on their part. But there was still games to be played on that, and there were still good games to be played on that.
Because I didn't get my Xbox One until about a year after it came out, and they dropped the Kinect bundle in. Because I was like, when they release it without the Kinect, I'll buy it, and that's when I got it. I didn't actually know until like a week ago that the Kinect wasn't just like bundled in; it was required. You could not even use the original Xbox One without the Kinect plugged in.
Wait, was that still a requirement? I thought they got rid of that requirement.
Well, that's the thing is, I thought it was like you just had to buy them bundled together, but it's like, if you don't want to use the Kinect, you don't have to. But I just found out literally like a week ago, you actually had to use the Kinect, and if it wasn't plugged in, it wouldn't operate. From what I hear.
See, I thought that's how they announced it, but then after Backlash, I thought they got rid of that. I didn't realize that they went ahead and went through with that.
I
would have to
remember
talk
running
to someone
into
who had
issues.
it on launch. So,
I had it pretty close to launch. I don't remember running into issues like that.
I had it with the Kinect because I was a fool who got sold on the Kinect. So I was like, oh, this looks like an interesting. It's almost like being Iron Man.
It's cool technology.
It's like
really
Tony
is.
Stark.
like
You can
Kinect's
talk to your
technology.
console, and then it just didn't really work that well.
Well, the
So
tech
they
was
on it.
very cool. It's really just like the always on requirement and all that.
Right.
That was
Conceptually, it was definitely cool, and even the idea of like you could move your hands to change the screens. Like they sold me on all the gimmicks. And like a fool, I was like, all right, cool. And then it did not work.
Neo, I'm surprised achievements weren't part of your justification for the Xbox, because there are a lot of systems you could have said, but they wouldn't have native achievements like the Xbox does.
I actually didn't. The achievement thing actually didn't even cross my mind until you just said it. So it had played no part in my choice. It's just the list of games.
It's very interesting because I would have thought that would be part of it. Like if you picked a PS2 or something, you couldn't really do that because in your argument, the whole thing was we can't have stuff outside of it, so retro achievements wouldn't count.
Exactly. So, but if I had thought about it,
I would have picked something totally different.
Well, no, because I would have had to have going off what she said. I would have had to have picked something that didn't have achievements, and if I was going to pick something that didn't have achievements, the only Xbox that didn't have achievements was the original Xbox. Like I said, I didn't really play that many original Xbox games, so that wouldn't have been my choice. I've never owned a PlayStation, so a PlayStation would not have been my choice. So it would have had to have been a Nintendo console. And if I went with a Nintendo, it would probably also be the GameCube, even though I didn't play a huge variety of GameCube games. But similarly, some of my favorite games from the franchises that I am a fan of were on GameCube. So if I was going to pick a non achievement based console, it would probably be the GameCube. So, all right. Let's go ahead and move on because we're almost at 2 hours. We've only done 2 topics, so we can cut it a bit short.
Chatty, sorry.
That's all right. That's what I love.
We
and
talk
Rodney's
about
here.
video
What's up,
games
Rodney?
here, sir.
So, we don't have to go through all of them.
We
if
talk
we don't
video
have time.
games here, sir.
I like geeking out. It's fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm good. We can cover as many topics as we
good
want.
time.
I'm good
Yeah.
here. So
Okay, because Kay says doesn't have a
Yeah,
whole lot of
roughly
time left.
an hour. Roughly.
All right.
I
If
can
you guys-
get James to start the stream, and you'll just hear him yelling in the background for the last 30 minutes of the show.
Okay.
That
All
would
right,
be
'cause
especially
these-
funny if
you'll
I
hear
gifted him a
Bear
game
Force
while he's
One
doing it.
playing in the
Yeah,
background.
exactly.
It'd be especially
Because-
funny if I gift him a game while he's doing it in the background, and then all of a sudden you just hear "No!"
Because the next 2 questions are basically flip sides of the same topic. So, Kay, if you got to go, no worries. But all right. So the next topic on the
If
agenda.
you could
for
deal with
tonight-
him yelling, I don't care. I can stay on.
I don't mind.
And then I'll just
Um,
join him when I'm done here.
All right. So next topic for tonight is what is a game that you didn't like but you pushed through to the end anyways? Me as an achievement hunter, I have a long list of
Yeah,
games that
it
fit
makes
this
sense.
criteria, but not everyone is like me. So maybe some of you guys don't have a lot of games that you actually push through to the end despite not liking. You're like, I don't like this, I'm done playing it. So curious if anything any of you guys have one that really jumps out at you as a game you didn't like, but you played it through to the end anyways.
Oh, I got one.
All right. What do you
It's
got,
a game
Nightmare?
we've already talked about tonight. Believe it or not.
Okay. Oh, Fallen Order.
Yes.
Okay.
It is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I did not like this game. I saw everyone going, "Oh, it's so great. It's the best thing Disney Star Wars has put out. It's amazing. It's the best Star Wars game ever." And then I played it.
Best Disney Star Wars game, I would agree, but
No,
that's
they were
not a
saying
high
like,
bar.
it's like the best Star Wars game in years.
No,
and
not
blah,
even
blah,
close.
blah. And it's like, then I played it, and this is just another stupid Souls-like, except with a Star Wars skin and a weak protagonist and Deborah Wilson. And everyone's just pathetic and running away from Darth Vader, who doesn't even sound like Darth Vader. Like, no joke, the guy they got in Force Unleashed to voice Darth Vader actually sounds like Darth Vader. Because he was actually a YouTuber who went by Chad Vader and did like a whole parody series. That was kind of funny.
I've heard of Chad Vader. I didn't
Yeah.
realize that he voiced Vader in Force Unleashed.
Yeah. His name what was his name, Matt something. But yeah, so in the Force Unleashed games, he voices Vader. Whoever they got in this Fallen Order game to voice Vader, Darth Vader does not sound like Darth Vader at all, and it was terrible. And so, like, I played this, but I forced myself through it because, okay, maybe it gets better. Nothing was better. Even just like the basic customization options were worse. I didn't even have as many colors for the lightsaber as I did in Force Unleashed.
Oh, I don't remember about the colors, but I do know that the hilt customization was the most detailed hilt customization of any Star Wars game I've ever seen.
Yeah, and that's kind of cool. But I mean, how often are you looking at the hilt?
Yeah.
You're usually holding it.
That's a fair point. It's the color that stands out.
Yeah.
More, so yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, and then at the end of the game, I mean, not to spoil it, but you have bug-eyed Deborah Wilson and red-haired what's his name running away from
Cal
Darth Vader
Kestis.
like a bunch of cowards with their
Yeah,
tails
Cal
between their
Kestis.
legs. Yeah, Cal Kestis. And it's like, okay, that's something, but that I just kept thinking of Force Unleashed 1 and 2, where you're literally fighting Darth Vader and you beat him. And then on the flip side, you're just running away like a coward in this game. And it was just such a disappointing experience. And everything I've seen of Jedi Survivor looks even worse, including the character designs. So,
Okay.
yeah, I was
fair enough.
horribly disappointed by this game.
That makes sense. Yeah, I liked it more than you did, but yeah.
Basically,
there's far better Star Wars games.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, it's like the opposite of what I think makes a Star Wars game fun for me is like the power fantasy. That's part of why I like the Force Unleashed game so much, is like it makes you feel like this very, very powerful Force user Jedi who's kind of in between light and dark side, but you got all these great Force powers. You're an amazing lightsaber duelist, whatever the term is for it. and you're Darth Vader's secret apprentice, you know, and you're just mowing down guys left and right. And then in this game, every single fight just feels like you're this weak, pathetic loser.
Fair enough.
Yep, absolutely fair enough. Definitely can't argue with that. So, a couple mentions in chat. Unsurprisingly, dude says Ninja Gaiden Sigma, which he just finished getting 100% in that not long ago. So,
dude really doesn't like Ninja Gaiden anymore.
He does not. He's working on Ninja Gaiden 2 now, and he hates it too.
Yeah.
So, and it pains me because Rodney says Mass Effect 3, my favorite game of all time. And I don't say that ironically. I love that game. So
I mean, I did when I played Mass Effect. I think the first one was the one that was the hardest for me to get through, just because of like the gameplay. I hate the Mako or Mako.
What? You hate
it's
the
Mako.
what?
See, it's Mako in Mass Effect, but then in Final Fantasy it's Mako, and I think the shark is called Mako, and I think
it's a Mako shark, and that's what it's named after.
How do you hate the Mako or whatever? I don't even know.
But see, like in Final Fantasy, it's called Mako, and then the actor who voiced Aku in Samurai Jack was also named Mako, and so it's confusing. But anyway, I just hate because it's all just like driving around the same desolate landscapes with nothing really going on, and the Mako, it's really hard to maneuver around, especially if you're like trying to drive over like one of the mountains, and you got to go around it. It's just not fun.
I got a game-breaking bug with it, and I almost didn't finish Mass Effect as a series because of it. But I still love those missions.
Yeah, see,
I love all three of them, but the first one is a bit rough to play. But it is the most RPG of the three, that's for sure.
Yeah, I have heard
a lot of people who like it the most out of all of them. Which
my favorite is probably 2 in the series. Like 3 is nice and all. It definitely has its issues, but my favorite is 2 because there's something about 1, the more like character focused nature of the game, and then 2, that sort of like rebellious story of the game, you know, where because you're not working for the whatever the space military is
alliance.
Can I get my answer since we're on the topic?
Real quickly, I want to say hi to Christian Frady's dropped in the chat. What is up, Christian Frady? He mentioned Matt Sloan, who I think is the name of the voice actor for Vader you were talking about. But
Matt Sloan. Yep.
If we're on the topic of Mass Effect, I think I know what's coming. But go ahead, Kay. Let's hear it.
But yeah, I was just saying Mass Effect 2 is my favorite.
Rarely do I ever play through an entire game if I start to dislike it. If I really hate a game, I go, nope, done. There's too many video games in the world. I'm going to move on and go give my effort and time to something else that is better. The only game I have ever played through to completion, despite despising it from the first 10 minutes, is Mass Effect 3. In the entire history of any video games I've ever played in my entire life, Mass Effect 3 is the only game I have ever beat in my life that I don't like.
I don't understand how people can because Mass Effect 2 and 3 are similar enough to where I don't understand why you would hate 3 if you like 2.
No, they are not.
And I say this as someone who's favorite in the series.
2 and 3 are far more like each other than 1 is.
Yeah, because 2 is my favorite in the series, and I didn't
most
hate 3,
people's favorite.
It was good enough. Like what? I guess what is the problem with 3?
Well,
for you?
You said you hated it like after the first 10 minutes. What is it that you hated after 10 minutes?
Was it the boy in the vent?
You know, the boy in the vent, literally. The boy in the vent. I looked at the boy in the vent and I was like, I hate this. I really hate this. This is terrible. And then I was like, okay, I'll give the boy in the vent a chance just in case the boy in the vent disappears. And then the boy in the vent turned into like a weird dream sequence or something. It's like a fever dream to me. But that boy in the vent started my, oh no, this is not going to be good. And then it just kept going from there. So,
and then somehow he turns out to be the Star Child thing as well.
Yeah.
I don't really understand what was going on with all that.
I think that was,
but I can kind of overlook it.
His form from Shepard's memory, I think.
I guess that kind of makes sense.
I
know Fractured also hates the boy in the vent.
Yes, I hate. Yeah. I don't want to beat a dead horse here because NerdyNeo has had to deal with me hating on this game since we've met.
The other thing that I hate is that James has a signed copy of 3 for both Mark Meir and Jennifer Hale, and he hates the game. It's my favorite game of all time. I will give you anything for that copy of Mass Effect 3.
Hey, maybe you could have gotten it had James not gotten sick the other day.
Just stealing.
Yeah, gotten it with air quotes.
Gotten it.
Hey, James, I want to see that copy in person. Do you mind bringing it with you? Yoink, just runs on a plane. Yeah, I won't like beat it to death on why I hate it, because I know that it pains Neo and he really loves that game, but I really, to me, I was dealing with that whole like galactic readiness thing, so I'd be like busy doing other things and I have to worry about Mass Effect 3 in the middle of it and be like, oh, sorry guys, I know we're hanging out right now, but I need to pull my phone out and do this, or else I'm not going to get the good stuff in this game. And what, so it just like there's so much.
So with that, I will say there are mods that massively improve the game. There's even there's a mod that does away with a lot of the nonsense with the galactic
Right,
readiness
but
map.
like when I'm judging in this,
Yeah, fair.
my
You're
beloved,
putting this in the Legendary Edition.
look, I'm gonna say that even with my beloved KOTOR 2, I still judge that game at the end of the day for what they've released, even though I think KOTOR 2 is fantastic. It is a very flawed game, and you can fix it with mods. Same with Vampire the Masquerade, but at the end of the day, I have to judge them on the release. So I'm
Fair.
judging it on Mass Effect 3 release when I played it. Same as like I would judge Cyberpunk from when it released. That's my main thing. But I'm glad that they're like, I think they made it not required after a certain time, right? Like you didn't have to do the galactic readiness anymore. And then I've heard that there are like modding.
There are mods that improve that. There are mods that bring Miranda back on the ship for a little bit.
Yeah.
There's
so, like,
a mod that actually improves the ending massively.
The ending is the biggest. Like I was like, okay, I'm still gonna see this through. Whatever. There was that one character. I know the characters' names of like almost everyone. I don't remember that one guy that's in the third one. What is his name? I don't even know. It's like the
Which guy?
military guy.
I know
that
you're
looks like he's in
talking-
Gears
James
of
Vega.
War. Yeah, he
Vega?
looks like he's a Gears of War character.
Freddie
His name's
Prinze
like-
Jr.'s character.
Yeah,
Alex
like,
Vega or whatever.
Yeah,
James Vega.
James Vega, that's his name.
like I wasn't.
As soon as you
invested
said
in-
that
he,
guy, I'm
uh,
like, oh, I know who you're talking about because everyone forgets him.
yeah,
For a
like,
second, I was like, wait, isn't he the gay romance? But no, that's Steve.
That's Steve Cortez. He's the shuttle pilot.
I'll never forget the Steve when he nearly crashed.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Anyways, we were on the topic of Mass Effect. And I was like, I'm just gonna give my answer to this question. It's gonna break Neo's heart, but that is where I sit. You guys know why I don't like it. I will give it one compliment, which is I do think the gameplay is it has good gameplay feel. Like I get that it does feel good,
You
and
know
even
what
Andromeda
annoys
carries
me,
that over.
though?
But I prefer the Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 1 system in my own preferences. But I can acknowledge that the Mass Effect 3 game feel is
I mean,
really
aren't
good.
those very different systems? Mass Effect.
Yeah,
1 and 2?
absolutely.
Mass
Yeah,
Effect
Mass
1
Effect
and
1
2
is
are very
Yeah,
different.
very
They're
different.
totally
It's
different
just
games,
an
yeah.
evolution of what 2 did with the
Yeah.
mechanics.
You know
Yeah.
what annoys me about the Legendary Edition? They did not they made all these changes because I think originally you couldn't play as female Shepard in 1 or 2, right?
No,
There's
you
only
could
in
always
two.
play
You
as
could?
female.
Okay,
Shepard.
you
I
could.
don't know if they actually solidified FemShep's default form until later in the series.
Okay, because I know they did something in the Legendary Edition for 1 and 2 with the female Shepard that was not originally there. But it annoys the hell out of me that in 3 you have the option, in the original 3, for when you're in conversations to take your helmet off. And it annoys the hell out of me that when they made the Legendary Edition, they did not backport that nice quality of life feature to 1 and 2.
Really?
Yeah,
Huh.
it's
My issue is they
really
flatten
annoying.
Miranda's ass and they get rid of some of the shots, you know?
I
You don't get all the
didn't
camera
notice-
angles anymore in the Legendary Edition. Terrible.
I didn't notice that they flattened her, but I do know there's a mod to bring back the camera angles.
The camera angles are that's a big atrocity.
Oh,
but yeah,
absolutely, it's
also
important.
Flat. It's
Although
just
I will
flat.
say it's weird. I can't explain why, but it looked like her appearance got a downgrade even in the original from 2 to 3.
The funny
Yeah.
thing about the camera angles, I don't remember if it was Christian Frades who told me about this or it was Dude. It was one of the two of them.
The same
Um,
person who made the mod is the
Yep.
person who made the mod to remove them in the original.
Yep. So
Yeah.
in the original release of Mass Effect 2, someone modded it on PC to remove those butt shots of Miranda. The same person modded them back in for the Legendary Edition. I think that's freaking great.
And I
Full
gotta,
circle.
you gotta respect that because they're like, you know what? I'm standing on principle. People should be able to choose whether or not they want them. So you know what? I'm gonna put them back in. Respect. Yeah,
Yep.
respect that.
So, a couple other mentions in chat. Hassan says for him, Starfield dumped 80 hours into it, hoping it would get better, and it never did. Nightmare Cast says the one that pops in his head is Majora's Mask. I know a lot of people don't like Majora's Mask, but I love Majora's Mask.
Oh yeah, speaking of Starfield, Neil, I think I mentioned this to you, but James was saying that Starfield is a lot like Mass Effect.
Yeah,
And
it
I
has like
was,
Mako stuff in it as well. Like there's a lot of similarities. I see it. I've been watching him play it offline.
which is weird because I played Starfield all the way through, and I have played Mass Effect twice at least, and I just don't see it.
I
I,
have not played Starfield yet, but I will play it at some point. It is in the backlog.
I'm glad you brought it up because James
Listen,
and I were
Neo,
having a conversation about it while we were playing, and we're like, Neo might like this game because it is Mass Effect, story dialogue type stuff. The crew's not like super interesting, but it's kind of got that the space exploration.
listen, you're
aspect,
gonna end up getting
Mako,
henpecked
like
by a middle-aged blonde woman for half the game.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Either way, Neo, you might actually like Starfield. It's not like a perfect.
I don't
game,
think
but-
I don't think it'll be like blown away by it, but I think I'll like it more.
I will
than
say
most
there
of
is a Star
what
Wars
most people
mod
say.
that is making some incredible progress, and you may just prefer to play that instead.
the Mandalorian one, right?
I've
don't know
heard
about
that.
Mandalorian, but
I'm
it's
playing it
basically
on
like a
console,
total
though, so
conversion
I
mod.
don't have mods.
Uh,
So, earlier while Nightmare was talking about Fallen Order, Crazy Landlord said the Force wasn't unleashed in Fallen Order. It sounds like no, it was
well,
not.
yeah. Very
So,
true.
Rodney says that he did play a lot of Mass Effect 3 though because of the multiplayer, which is a lot of fun. I still play it regularly, almost weekly still because I love it so much. Nightmare says Sonic 06. You know what? That was the worst one. Haven't played it, but I've heard bad things about it. From Hassan's narrative point, playing Vader's.
Sonic 06 as much as I should.
I'm really hoping
There's
that one
parts
of
I
these
like of it.
days you guys, Kay and James, get like really close to the end of Sonic 06, and then someone tips in the
No,
clear
not
your
the
save file, so you have
reset,
to start all over again.
Here's my unique thing with Sonic 06, right? I agree it's a terrible game, but I have Stockholm syndrome with Sonic 06. This is a very real thing. When I'm away from that game for long enough, I'm like, that wasn't that bad. I see the themes, what they were trying to do with it. If they actually did a better job at like everything moving gameplay wise, the level design is kind of good. Whatever I like, and it's one of the best songs in all of Sonic history. I love the music in Sonic 06. And then I play it. And I'm like, I'm like screaming and I'm like ready to throw the controller into the wall and then give it another couple months. And I'm like, Sonic 06 isn't that bad. So as soon as you see me playing Sonic 06 again, you're going to probably point to this clip and be like, you're lying. You don't actually like this game or whatever. Because my opinion radically changes. It's literally like somebody in a domestic abuse relationship with Sonic 06.
So, Hassan was saying that, from an overall narrative point, portraying Vader as unbeatable is a good move to preserve how powerful he was in old canon. That's 2 ends in that cannon, not 3. That's the type of cannon you shoot off the side of a ship. But I do agree that the game Hero running away was a pitch move. Yeah, I'm right there with you because you definitely should not be able to beat Vader. So I like that he was overpowered at the end.
Well, if Vader trained you.
Oh, I'm talking about Fallen Order, which I think
Yeah,
is what
yeah.
he's talking about as well.
Yeah,
not
he is,
Force
but
Unleashed.
yeah.
Right.
But Rodney said another one that fits the bill is Dragon Age 2 was so boring to get to the end. It was repetitive. I only finished it because I wanted to complete the story. Never played another Dragon Age after that one. Fair enough. Yeah, dude was saying in regards to the Miranda mod, perfectly balanced as all things should be. So, nerd takes. Haven't gotten to you on this topic. What's something that you pushed through to the end, or have you?
Honestly, yeah, it's a short list for me because much like Kay, if a game's really bad, I'll just bow out of it because one, there's just not enough time in the world I always say to watch bad movies, to watch bad shows, to play bad games. Like I'd rather just, if I can get a good sense of this game sucks or this movie sucks, I'm out. I'll go watch or play something else. So typically I have
Completely
that.
Understandable.
But I do have a weak point, and that tends to be superhero stuff. I'll pretty much always just force myself through that just because I have to really care about the IP when it comes to games, or I have to be really interested in the IP to kind of put myself through finishing a bad game. So I guess, unfortunately for me, there's been 3 cases of that more recently that I could immediately thought of when this question came in front of me.
Okay.
So 2 of them were kind of my runner-ups. I'll just say them real quick. Marvel's Avengers was awful. Horribly overpromised and horribly underdelivered. Just such a boring, repetitive game. And just completely half-baked in my opinion in terms of the mechanics.
It's just live service slop with a Marvel skin.
Yeah, basically. That's the quickest way to just sum it up. So that was crap. Gotham Knights was also crap. In my
I had high
opinion.
hopes for that one. That one
I
looked
did
like it
too.
was going to be good.
I really
I did
did
not.
hope, but it
I
just
had no hope for it.
It was more of a optimistic hope. I wasn't loving what I was seeing, but I just kept saying, give it a chance.
It had a lot of potential.
Maybe. And it just didn't. It's again boring gameplay and repetitive gameplay loop. Ton of glitches that were just ridiculous. Like there's points where you're like, it's stupid, silly stuff. Like your Batgirl, you're on her little bat cycle, and her cape's just not blowing in the wind. It's just like glitching through your bike, and it's like that's stupid stuff. Like that shouldn't ruin a game. But also, like, that's stupid stuff that you should have caught and fixed before you released.
Well,
the game.
I mean, they were so lazy
Silly
that
things.
apparently even the vehicles in the game, they just sort of showed up out of nowhere, as opposed to even like Arkham Knight, which was years before that. They had managed to make it so that the Batmobile always comes from around the corner.
Dude, if you look at a side-by-side, even just the general look and graphics, if you look at a side-by-side of those two games, you would think that Gotham Knights was the one that came out 10 years prior to when Arkham Knight. I mean, Arkham Knight looks phenomenal compared to what that game. It looked dull. It didn't look crisp. Again, you had the stupid things like capes not flying in the wind, like just
especially if you're playing it like 1080p. Yeah, Arkham Knight.
Right.
Is just
It looked beautiful to this day, and that game
Yeah.
just looked so dull, and it played dull as well. The story was not interesting. Gameplay
Regarding
loop,
the
like I said,
cape?
repetitive.
Regarding the cape in Arkham Asylum, they had one guy whose sole job was to work on the cape.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. Yeah, but like that's the attention to detail that should be in games like this, and this game just lacked that.
Yep.
And also, it had some of the worst modes of traversal that I've ever seen to get these characters around the city. One, you had to unlock them, which was annoying as it is. And again, you do have to do that in the Batman games as well. Your grapple boosts, all that stuff.
But it's fun.
But
when
you at
do
least
that.
have like your base version of it. You have a base version of it, which if I recall, you had to unlock even the base version of Gotham Knights traversal like that. And I could be wrong. It's been a while since I played it, and I only played it once. But regardless, when you did have it, it wasn't fun. None of them were fun. They were horribly crafted, and it took more time to use them sometimes than to just walk or run. So that one sucked too. But the main one for me, honestly, was Suicide Squad. Go ahead.
Nightmare Cast said, "Play Guardians of the Galaxy instead of Avengers." Yeah, the Guardians of the Galaxy
that was a good
was
game.
underrated.
That was an underrated game. It was
great
good.
game.
I enjoyed that one a lot.
Too much talking. It's
Well,
weird.
funny-
but one game, I'm like, stop talking.
Funny you say that, Kate, because that's going to come up for Suicide Squad here as well. That
Suicide Squad.
Suicide
Ouch.
Squad killed the Justice League.
Deborah
was-
Wilson is in that game too,
She is.
Oh,
She
yeah,
plays
that's right.
Amanda Waller.
Amanda Waller.
and she's not even fat.
Like it's just so I mean, the thing with that game is, so when it comes to gameplay, like the gameplay itself isn't that bad. It's definitely super repetitive and there's not much depth to it. It's like it gets boring quick. But if you were to play that game with like a group of friends, you could probably have some fun playing just based off the gameplay itself for a little bit. It'll probably, wouldn't have much legs. It wouldn't last long. But the gameplay is not awful. It's just everything else that goes in playing that game makes it such a chore. The dialogue is horrifically eye-rolling cringe. Like the stuff they say is just like, oh my God. What, like, is this really, did they really sit down and write this? Never mind record it and put it into the game. The story itself, horrible, boring, nonsensical at times, and just again a chore to get through all of it.
It was
takes
so bad
long
that they actually had to come out after the game got, like, the live services got canceled.
Retcon the whole thing.
Yeah, they had to retcon the whole thing
Yep.
with that comic book. Just
Yep.
especially because of how badly they treated Kevin Conroy's Batman when this is his final like major performance, I guess you could call it.
And they're disrespectful to a lot of the heroes in terms of the lore. Like, at one point, Captain Boomerang is peeing on the Flash and all that. And it's like, this is just like you're deliberately trying to be just annoyingly disrespectful to the characters.
And the whole like turning Deadshot black, maybe because they wanted him to match Will Smith. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I forgot that. Yeah, because there was the continuity change between that and the Deadshot from the Arkham games. I honestly forgot all about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, this game, like, because remember, this game was announced like way back, like years and years before it actually came out.
Yeah,
I actually remember when they first announced it. It was
around the time of Arkham Knight. Yeah, it was around that time when.
No, it was a little after Arkham Knight. It was around 2020-ish that it was.
Well, when you got the actual announcement, but there had been rumors prior to that about what Rocksteady's next game would be, and it was always would it be a Suicide Squad game? Would it be a Superman game? So there were rumors right after Arkham Knight, but then yes, around about 2020 is when they officially announced.
Because they announced it with Will Arnett, and I remember
it was when they did that DC. Essentially, when E3 Comic-Con was canceled that year,
Yeah.
They had done that DC at home thing where everybody got to, and that's when they officially
Will Arnett
announced
was
it
there, and then
happening.
I remember Sefton Hill, the studio head.
Yeah.
He walked
Who-
on, and I told a buddy of mine, Sefton looked absolutely dead inside when he walked on to announce that, and he's like, "Nah, he just always looks like that."
Well, he'd leave before the game even came
Yeah.
out, if I recall. Yeah.
He and Jamie Hill,
Yep.
I think, is his
Yep, the other
co-founder.
guy. Mhm.
Yeah, they both just left before the game was even over.
Yeah.
It was a complete mess.
And when I finally got the game, I was like, oh no, I see why these guys want nothing to do with it. It's just like I
Everyone
said,
knew that game was going to be dead on arrival.
well,
Yeah.
between the live service thing was a bad call, obviously. Enough with the live service stuff at this point. But again, it's just like that game experience. Even if you're staying away from the live service thing, whatever, you're just going for that single story, experience. The story sucks. The cutscenes go on forever. And then the crew that you like when you're playing, they don't shut up. Like Harley, they don't stop talking to each other in this annoying dialogue that's just not interesting, not funny. The jokes don't land. At some point, it's like, dude, can I just mute every single character in this game
And on
and
top of that,
also skip
Harley's-
every single cutscene and just play like this somewhat fun but awfully repetitive gameplay? Like that.
On top
at
of that, they
point,
made
it's
Harley
nuts.
ugly.
Yeah, the character models weren't great. Harley did not look like the Harley from the other games.
Yeah, because the other
I mean,
games, Harley Quinn is.
some of it was
gorgeous.
fine though. Like Boomerang looked fine, King Shark looked fine.
Oh yeah, the
so
guys
some-
always look fine.
So like give or take, it was a mixed bag of good character design versus not good. But for me, yeah, it was just the experience playing it was just such a chore. So getting through that one sucked.
I'm
And I
curious.
got to the point where I just finished it because I'm like, dude, I'm pot committed at this point. I've played
Okay.
so much of this that like, let me just friggin' finish this thing. And like, I couldn't even tell you how the story truly ends because I was just skipping cutscenes. About halfway through, I decided I'm done. I'm
The
done
story
listening to Harley.
ends-
I'm done listening. So I beat
Yep.
the bosses. I beat Superman. Beat everybody I needed to. Brainiac, the whole deal. Couldn't
the
tell you how
story
the story
ends
ended.
when that bat demon, who my avatar is absolutely not based on, zooms into the camera at the end of Arkham Knight, and then they never made anything else after that.
That's
real
how
shame.
it should have gone, honestly. So that was the most recent one I can remember, and to me, that was a worse experience than playing Gotham Knights or Marvel's Avengers.
Yeah, you answered my question, but I was going to ask, why did you play this one to the
Oh
end?
yeah, like I said, it just comes down to like the IP. If I'm interested, like I love superheroes enough that I was like, whatever, like And even at that, I was close, to be honest with you, Neo. I was close to being like, you know what, dude, I'm tapping out of this. Oh, you know what it was also too, Neo? It was you guys were doing a game challenge last year.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, you know what? Let me see how many games I can beat in a year. And I don't
Did
know
you do
what.
all the Arkham games prior to that?
Well, I had already beaten them, so that wasn't part of my new. This was like January of last year. I was like, oh,
Okay.
I don't know what possessed me to pick this as my first game of part of that challenge. But once I started, I was like, well,
Like the worst
yeah.
game
I was
to
like, well,
choose.
I'll tell you what it was. It became free on PlayStation. So I was like,
okay.
I'll try this piece of crap game for free. Whatever, why not? And then I got like 5 hours in, 10 hours in. Once I hit about 15 hours in, I'm like, well, crap, now I got to finish this thing. Like, I'm already into it. I'm trying to see how many games I can beat. I can't have just wasted 15 hours. So it was kind of all those things combined. I just ended up finishing it. But I probably would have finished it anyways because I did the other two games and they
So
sucked.
I recommend this to everybody. They have never made a better Suicide Squad thing than this. If you want good Suicide Squad, go watch the animated film Assault on
Assault
Arkham.
on Arkham. Yep. It's
Yeah,
so
because that
good,
takes place
dude.
before Arkham Asylum. Kevin Conroy's in it.
Yep, that's what I wanted the Suicide Squad original movie to be. Just a
Yeah,
grounded,
and they even
gritty
do a really
story
good
like
job
that.
with like the Harley and Joker dynamic in
Mhm.
that movie,
Mhm.
where like she actually manages to make Joker jealous, which is something I actually kind of like about that.
Which, yeah, you don't see it often, especially with him. And well,
Yeah, because usually they just try to write Joker as, oh, I don't care what happens to Harley, but now
Right.
they actually they make it a little more interesting when he actually does care about her on some level, you
Mhm.
know?
Even if it's just pure jealousy. Yeah,
Yeah,
It-
just
it-
pure possessiveness. It's like,
Mhm.
yeah, I don't care what she does, but she's mine. Dang it, you know?
Yeah, no, that is a great movie, and I wish
Fantastic.
I kept telling my friends when they were making the Suicide Squad movie, I'm like, I hope it's gonna be like this. Like,
Yeah.
and my friends are like, they'll watch superhero movies, but they're not as into it as I am. So I was like, no, I'm telling you
Yep.
guys, if they do this story, this is gonna make you love. And then we got what we got, and I'm just like, I'm sorry, guys.
You
I
got
thought
something
it was-
where the only
I
good
thought it
thing
was gonna
about
be
it-
something
yeah.
different.
The only good thing about that movie was Margot Robbie in that outfit.
Because of Halloween and all the
Yeah.
women dressing like that.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, I
she
just
did, and she played a good Harley too. Like it wasn't
Yeah.
until like they started to make her an anti-hero that it was like, all right, I've had enough of this.
well, yeah,
but
when
she
they did
played a
the
good
Birds
Harley.
of Prey thing, that was a mistake.
Yeah. So, All right. So another thing I have to give a shout out because, like I said, I like to try to give credit where credit is due. This topic came from Reddit, from the video game Reddit. I don't know who originally posited the question, but I wrote down that I got it off the video games Reddit.
I almost would have told you not to admit that.
Yeah, people like to crap on Reddit, but there are some, Reddit, it can be useful for some things. So but anyways, so a couple of games, like I said, I have a long list of games that would fit this criteria. I wrote down a small handful of them. The first two I wrote down are two games from my second favorite franchise of all time, which is, number one is Mass Effect, number two is Metroid. And I have two games in Metroid that I hated and pushed through to the end. And for some reason, I've also played one of them two more times since. That is the original Metroid. So, because I'd never played original Metroid or Metroid 2 before, I played some other versions of them, like Zero Mission. That is the best way to play the original Metroid, because that is a fantastic game. And I had played AM2R, but I had never played the original Metroid 2 last year because the game challenge that Nerd Takes was mentioning. We got bonus points for playing the original forms of them. So I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and start at the beginning and play those. The original Metroid game is terrible. And I pushed through to the end, and I have now since beat it two more times because there's a GameCube version and there was a Game Boy Advance version as well. So pushed through to the end and beaten it that one, but despite it being awful. Don't play the original one. Play Zero Mission because that game is fantastic. And then the other one in the franchise is one that I didn't mind the first time I played it when it originally came out on Wii back in the day, but I replayed it again just last year, and boy, did I hate it, but pushed through to the end because I was doing it for Metroidvania Monday, and I was doing it on stream, got to do the whole thing, and that was Other M. And I will be doing that one again very soon because Wii gets retro achievements next week in the first game. Well, the first game I'm playing is one that I really want to, is Metroid Prime 3, but I will also be playing Other M again, but this time for achievements. But yeah, Other M, that game is awful. So I pushed through to the end on that one. Another one, one of Dude's favorites, but one that I hated. We did the whole thing on stream. That was this Dark Souls. Not a fan of that game, but pushed through to the end. You could go watch the whole street, from beginning to end, and watch me hate life. And Paul really enjoyed that.
What'd you think of the soundtrack of Dark Souls? Was there anything that you liked in Dark Souls?
That game
the music is what I like.
That game has music? I don't remember any music.
So it's the same. It's the same composer as Tales of Symphonia.
I don't remember any music because it was very
Time to remember past the rage.
I was just trying to give one positive because I don't know much about Dark Souls.
You know what? The one positive that I know about Dark Souls, I've never played any of them, and I never will. But the one positive thing I will say is I like the Praise the Sun guy. I appreciate him.
Solaire.
Yeah, Solitaire.
Solaire.
Yeah, Solaire. Yeah.
But the only music that I remember, there was probably boss music. I don't remember it, but other than boss music, if there was any music in the game, it's very, it's ambiance music. So it's very quiet. Because the game is very dark, and so there's not a whole lot of music to it.
Isn't that really? I haven't played all the Dark Souls games. Mostly only 3. That's the one I played the most. And at least in that one, none of it really stands out as fantastic, but it's fine. It sets the mood, it fits the tone. It's solid.
Let's see here. So, and since I beat Dark Souls, January 15th is Dude Souls Day, the anniversary of when I beat Dark Souls. I did a anniversary stream this January 15th. I didn't do Dark Souls though. I played Elden Ring for a couple hours, and I liked it better than Dark Souls, but I was still hating my life. But there has been an ongoing open offer since I beat Dark Souls. And that was if someone gifted me Dark Souls, it had to be 2, because I'm not going to do them out of order. So it had to be 2, Dark Souls 2. Someone gifted that to me on Xbox, I would continue Dude Souls. And as of about 3 weeks ago, I got it gifted to me on Xbox. So I will be doing Dark Souls 2 on stream soon-ish. So the suffering will continue So thanks a lot, Eldritch. And I don't mean that because I did not want anyone to take me up on that offer, but I will be continuing, and that offer will stay open. So if someone does gift me Dark Souls 3 on Xbox, eventually after I do Dark Souls 2, I will do Dark Souls 3. But those are the stipulations. So
those streams were awesome. If you ever want to see Neo as mad as you've ever seen Neo, you got to go check out those streams. They were unbelievable.
Yeah, crazy analyst. This man was so mad playing Dark Souls he didn't hear the epic music. That is true.
Those were a lot of fun to watch.
He's probably just saying that because I don't think I ever saw Crazy Landlow in the Dude Soul streams, but maybe he was. Maybe he was lurking, or maybe I just forgot. But anyways, yeah, I was not a fan of Dark Souls, but pushed through to the end. As I mentioned earlier, Ninja Gaiden 3, not the original one on NES, but the one on Xbox 360, that game is god awful. And like I think it was Nightmare Cast said earlier about Starfield, I kept playing it hoping it would get good, and it never did, and it was terrible. Fortunately, it's a lot shorter than Starfield, and it's only like about a 12-hour game, so I didn't have to suffer through it that long. But that's one of the very few games that after I beat it, I returned it. It was so bad.
Would you rather go back and play Dark Souls or Ninja Gaiden 3?
Oh, Ninja Gaiden 3, hands down.
There we go.
And then there were a couple of DLCs that were terrible for games that I really enjoyed. And another one was Metroidvania I did on Metroidvania Monday. Prince of Persia Lost Crown game was awesome. The DLC was terrible. I was planning on doing it on stream, but I had a lot of technical issues, so I ended up not doing that on stream. But I do not recommend the Lost Crown DLC. It was awful. But even worse, the Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, also a Metroidvania. Good game. The DLC is one of the worst DLCs I've ever played in my entire life. I despise this Dominique's Curse DLC with every passion of my being. And that would be a more tough choice. Would I rather go back and play the Dominique's Curse DLC or Dark Souls? I would probably have to say Dominique's Curse just because it's so much shorter than Dark Souls, but it would be tough because it's that bad.
You know what? You mentioning DLCs actually reminds me, Arkham Knight's DLCs where you're playing as not Batman, so basically just all the other side characters.
Are you talking about just the combat challenges or the actual story ones?
The story ones.
Okay.
Because once you've played as Batman, once you've been Batman, it's like, I don't want to be anybody else. And so I played all of those once way back when I first got the game. And then I just never played him again because I didn't really care about him. Even the Batgirl one, I just was not that into.
I really like that one, actually. I actually just did a playthrough of it for my channel not that long ago. I really enjoyed that one. Actually.
It was okay.
And the Red Hood one.
It was okay, but I just, once I've been Batman, I don't want to be anybody else.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't disagree. Yeah, I don't disagree that all the Batman gameplay is definitely better than both that or the Red Hood one. But I did actually enjoy those. I was able to find some fun out of those.
So, and then one other one that I often get a lot of flack for, me being a huge Metroidvania fan, the one that everyone praises as the best thing ever, and I hated it for the longest time. I don't hate it anymore. I still don't care for it, though. Hollow Knight. I hated that game. It took me like 3 years because I started it because everyone's like, could not shut up about how amazing it is. And they're like, oh, you're a Metroidvania fan. You'll love Hollow Knight. I started playing it, and for like 6 hours, I hated every second of it. And I was like, I'm going to put it on the backlog, and I'll come back to it again later. That was in January of 21. February of 23, 2 years later, I was like, let me give it another shot. So I started it over, played it a little bit farther than when I got the first time, hated every second of it, put it on the backlog. Last year, I finally, because we got in our challenge, we got bonus points for playing games that we hate. Hollow Knight was one of my games. So I was like, all right, I'm going to, buckle down. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to play through it and beat it. I finally did. It wasn't until, probably about it's like a 60-hour game. And about halfway through, I finally stopped hating it to just disliking it. But yeah, so people are like, oh, are you excited about Silksong? It's like, no, I didn't like Hollow Knight, so why would I be excited about Silksong? I am going to play Silksong at some point. It's just not very high on my.
Did they immediately follow up with, how did you not like Hollow Knight? Because I imagine that's how they probably would have responded.
Yeah, and I shout out to GameSHLF because I wrote quite an in-depth review of Hollow Knight and why I gave it only like a 6.5. I am not a fan of Hollow Knight, but I pushed through to the end. I don't have all the achievements because it has some of the hardest achievements of all time, but I did beat it and did everything you can in the in the game. I have the 112% achievement. I just don't have the achievements for like beating the speed run and beating it without dying. That'll never happen. But I did beat it, and I will go back and get some of those speedrun achievements probably eventually. I just don't know
Wait,
when.
the
But I was
achievement is
not.
112%, or there's 112% possible of an achievement list? Because I feel like you can only. I've been muted for minutes, and he
Oh, that was hilarious. To answer your question though, because I don't know if you can even get the original version of the game, because every time you see Hollow Knight, it's Hollow Knight Voidheart Edition, because there's DLC that they added on, but it's like free DLC. So it increased the maximum percentage that you can get from 100 to 112%. And so I have the achievement for 112%. So that's the highest percentage there is in the game. So I've basically done everything you can do outside of like the speed runs and no death achievements. But I was not a fan of it. So on the flip side, I always have to follow it up with a Metroidvania that's very similar, but far, far superior in every single possible aspect, and that is the Ori games. That's why Ori and the Will of the Wisps is my #1 favorite Metroidvania of all time, because it does the opposite of everything that I hate about Hollow Knight. So, all right, there was a bunch of chat going on. I wanted to try. Oh, some people saying that they got Suicide Squad on Epic Store for free. There was some mention of Star Wars Outlaws, which is James' favorite, and Nightmare totally didn't gift it to him. I will be playing that at some point, and I did get that gifted to me. Jason had a code, and I was talking about it after a top 5, and I was like, it's a Star Wars game, so I'll play it eventually once it goes on a big enough sale. He's like, I've got a code for you. Want it? I'm like, sure. So I own it, and I will play it. And I've heard it's gotten a lot better than it was when it launched, but we'll see. So Hassan said Reddit and useful don't belong in the same sentence. That is incorrect. There's plenty of useful stuff you can find on Reddit if you're looking in the right spots. But I understand the sentiment. And Nightmare Cast enjoyed Other M. That is all right. Cheers to you. I don't know how. You can watch me stream it. I'd stream the whole thing, and you'd see my descent into, oh my God, I hate this game. Because I didn't care. I didn't mind it the first time I played it when it first came out. And now playing it again, like 15 years later, I freaking hated it. And I got to do it again. So, let's see here. Yeah, man, you guys were chatting a lot while I was talking. Let's see here. Dude says, originally I thought I was going to hate Dark Souls when I first played it. Its difficulty is overhyped. Yeah. I would say, now that I've played Dark Souls, I say Ninja Gaiden is way harder, because you, like in Dark Souls, at least you can go and like farm kills, because enemies constantly respawn. It's basically it's a semi-open world game, and you can level up your character. You can't do that.
Dark Souls
in Ninja
combat
Gaiden.
is slower paced too.
That's
right?
also why I'm not a fan of it. I like the much faster pace.
Same. That's why I don't like it. But I actually consider that a little bit easier when it's slower, because you're not like, you don't have to deal with like the button mashing aspect of it so much.
So, oh yeah, and dude says Fallen Order is definitely easier than Souls games. Absolutely, that was my first proper Souls game, was Fallen Order. Haven't played other Souls like that aren't FromSoft. So, all right, I think that'll wrap up that topic. Did I skip anyone on that one?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. All right. So for our next topic here is basically the flip side of that. And this was coincident. I didn't actually even plan this. I just was picking out topics. And after I looked at the topics, I'm like, oh, these actually go together perfectly. This was the flip side of the topic we just talked about. But this was suggested on episode 40 of Party Chat by Matt Cave. He said, he mentioned this in one of the things he was talking about. And I was like, that's a great topic for Party Chat. I'll put it on the list. So shout out to Matt Cave Gaming for having this idea on episode 40 of Party Chat. And that was, what is a game that you liked, but you never actually finished? So I'll go ahead and start this one off, because the first thing that I actually have a couple, but the first thing that came into my mind, and I will correct this very soon, is the Jurassic Park game on Super Nintendo I had, and I was never able to beat it because I couldn't figure out what you were supposed to do, as a kid. And the guidance in this game is not very good, and there's no saving. Every time you start the game, you have to start over from the beginning, so you can't pick up where you left off. There was one time where I think I had everything I needed to beat the game, but I think I died before that, and I ran out of lives, because it does have a life system. And I was like, well, forget that. And I don't know if I ever played the game again after that. But it was a pretty good game. It freaked me out because when you go inside building, it turns into a Doom clone. It's a first-person shooter against dinosaurs. It was really creepy. This is a Super Nintendo game. And anyone who knows me, it's like I don't like scary stuff. But yeah, it was a good game. Never finished it, never hit credits or anything. But I recently, back in December, it was on sale for like 75% off the Jurassic Park Classic Games Collection, which this is one of the games in that collection I picked up. So I will be playing through it, as well as a bunch of other old classic Jurassic Park games that I never played those ones. But this, I bought it mainly for this one, and I will finally go through and beat it because there's an achievement for it. And I am also planning on playing all the games that are in this classic games collection. I'm also planning on playing all of the retro achievements for their original versions on their old hardware as well. But that was the first thing that popped into my head, was the Super Nintendo Jurassic Park game. I was never able to beat it because I couldn't figure out where to go and there was no way to save. So I got a couple others, but that was I wanted to kick it off with that one. So okay, what about you? You got a game that you like that you never finished?
I've got a few. Fire Emblem 6 I didn't end up finishing because, well, I'm spoiling this for no one who cares, but my favorite character in the entire Fire Emblem series dies in that game, and I already knew that going into it, so I just haven't finished it because I love that character and I don't want the inevitable truth to happen. That's the major one. I will play it eventually, and it'll be on stream and everything as my first like finish through. But Fire Emblem 7 is like before those events, so I pretty much know what the story is. And then the other one, which is just silly and stupid, is I got 99% through Gears of War 1 and then just walked away, and it makes no sense. I loved Gears of War. It was really fun, and I was playing it with James, and I was just like, all right, anyways, I pretty much did it. It's a 5:40 right now offline. And I was like, I'm going to bed. And he's like, you're so close to beating the game. Just beat it. I was like, oh, we'll get back to it eventually. And then I never did. So I'm on the final boss of Gears of War 1, but I barely remember the games and I have to start it all over again.
It's not a long game.
I love the game.
I just replayed it in the Gears of War Reloaded version that just came out. I just played that when I went over to my buddy Rozik's house a couple weeks ago. We played through the whole thing over the course of an afternoon, so it's not terribly long.
It's just so funny to me. It's like, imagine you just like get all the way there. It's like you're at Mount Doom and then you just don't throw the ring and you're like, you know what? It's fine. We only spent like our lives doing this and a bunch of us died, but whatever. So those are my two major answers.
I thought your answer would have been Tales of the Shire, Kay.
I hate that game.
Your favorite Tales game.
Gum on a stiletto
favorite
of a
Tales
shoe. It's disgusting. I hate it.
Tales of Symphonia. What are some of the other Tales games?
Tales of Arise. Tales of Arise is my actual
and
favorite.
Tales of
She
the
doesn't like
Shire.
that one.
I don't like Rise. I might.
There's
give it
also
another chance,
Tales
though.
of Kenzera Zao. I know she's very excited.
That's actually a
to
pretty
play
good game. That game got overrated. That was a decent game.
I don't know enough about it, to be honest, besides that guy crying on whatever Game Award show about it. So that's all I know. Is that the same guy? Am I thinking of the same person?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I think so.
I really don't know much about it. Besides, also, Nightmare, didn't you gift that to us?
Indeed, I did.
Yeah. So that's the only other thing I know.
It's a decent game. Don't hate on it until you try it.
Hey, I give things a chance. I'm very much like, if I'm going to like the game, I'm going to like the game. I don't care how, whatever paused you want to call it, right? Like, if the game is good at the end of the day, I'll say it.
Gameplay wise, it's very similar to Lost, as I mentioned earlier, Prince of Persia: Lost Crown, which is a phenomenal game. It's kind of like that game's little brother. It's similar, but not nearly as good.
I mean, I love the Rogue Prince of Persia, so I might end up
Very
liking
different.
that. Yeah.
So, all right. So what about you, Nerd Takes? What's a game that you liked but you never finished?
So I've had a couple, honestly, because I have a bad habit of starting a game, getting pretty far into it, and then just kind of getting distracted by either another game or life or whatever's going on that I forget to finish it. And then when I come back to want to play it or finish it, I can never just pick up where I left off because it feels like so much time has gone by that I have to start at the beginning again just to get the full experience. So there's games that I've done that, like I've almost stopped at the same point like 10 times on some games because it just keeps happening and I can't get myself past that point. So two came to mind immediately with that. The first one was, ironically enough, Jedi Fallen Order. That's one that I've tried to get through that game a couple times. And I've enjoyed the gameplay, and I'm starting to think that maybe because I can't remember any of the story, maybe it's the lack of a compelling story that makes me keep kind of falling out of interest of it when the gameplay can't continue to just kind of carry me through it. So that was going to be my answer until I thought of another one that I've done the same process with even more times.
Okay.
And that's Bully by Rockstar. I don't know if you guys
Bully.
remember the
Wow.
game Bully.
Oh
But
yeah,
I hear everyone talk about that game with
It's
a
a
lot
great
of
game.
reverence.
It is such
yeah.
a good game. The problem is I get to like the winter part of that game, like when it changes and like, because you go through the seasons of the school year in Bully. So you start in the fall and, it goes on. Somewhere around like the middle portion of the game where you get to winter and like there's a drunken, I was going to say Superman, drunken Santa Claus that you got to help out. Like somewhere around that part, I stop every time because I just like get distracted or whatever. And then months go by. When I come back to it, I want to restart. So I've played from the beginning of Bully to about that middle portion at least 20 times in my life. I've just never gotten. So one of these days I have to finally dedicate like enough time to say, look, you're going to make it through. You're going to finally do this. You have the ability. You're going to do it. And
Some
I
of
do
those
want to
games
eventually
are
get to
BS.
that game.
Like some of the mini games in it are brutal. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I
for
think
sure.
sometimes there's one specifically there. I think, and it might be the Santa Claus one where you're throwing snowballs at the guys that like the other students who are like bugging in.
Yes.
And that
God.
mission
I remember
just
that.
sucks. Yeah, it sucks. And I think that's kind of where it gets me every time, Kay. That's kind of where I fall out of the game again. And like, but the rest of the game is great. And like, I want to see what's on the other side of that. And one day I'll get there. I haven't been able to. So that was the one that really jumped in front of any other one that I could think of, because I've probably done that repeat or restart process with that game more than any other.
I
I usually, when I've played it, I have a bunch of mods that I usually install to make it a little more fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair enough.
How you played it to the same point over and over and never got past that point. I had a very similar thing with a book in a franchise we've talked about tonight. Not Lord of the Rings, but The Hobbit. I got to the same point in The Hobbit like 4 times, and then I just put it off and didn't come back to it till like months later. I'm like, all right, I got to start over because I don't remember. Got to the same point, and then something else came up. I've never finished The Hobbit still to this day, and I've read like the first half of it like 4 times.
There's people that swear by The Hobbit. For me, I'm not as big of a fan as I am of like the original trilogy type stuff. So yeah,
Kay prefers Rings of Power to The Hobbit.
No, I go 20 minutes of that made me want to do things that I can't say on YouTube. Nerd Takes, if I can give you a little game recommendation. It hasn't come out yet to my knowledge, but there's a game I've had my eyes on, James as well. Edgefield High, Rock the School.
Yeah, so I've seen that.
Edgefield High?
It looks interesting. Edgefield High, yeah, something like that.
Oh, Edgefield High?
Yeah,
I know it's on
Edgefield
my
High,
wish list.
I believe I've seen that. I think I've seen the trailer for it.
Oh,
It's
you're
the
right.
same
It is
game I'm thinking
Edgefield
of.
High, Rock the School, Q2
Yeah,
2026.
And I remember seeing if I am thinking of the same one. I remember watching the trailer for it and seeing a bunch of people in the comments like, this is kind of like the spiritual successor to Bully, I think. So I am interested in checking.
It's got a lot of bully to it. I think it could end up in a Life is Strange corner, maybe, and the art style is not the best, but it could be bully. So I'm keeping my eye on it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'd like to see how that one turns out. I can't believe Rockstar's left Bully on the shelf for this long. I really can't.
I know a lot of
I think it's
people
because
like,
they
"Bring
just
it
don't
back."
know where to take it from this point.
But even like, I don't know, like I guess they did do a somewhat of a remaster, I guess, when they put it onto the 360, I think, was it? Or was that when they went to the X? Because I have a version of it
whenever
on
they
my
released
Series
Scholarship
S.
Edition, I think.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of, that same edition. So whenever that was, I can't remember if that was a remaster or not, or just a report.
Yeah, it's just a port. I think.
Yeah, that's
An
kind of what I
enhanced port.
thought. That's why I was a little hesitant to call it a remaster.
Scholarship
But they haven't even done
edition is
that.
on
Like,
360.
okay, that's what I thought. And like, but they haven't even done a new remaster or something. Like, why is it just collecting dust?
Oh, that was.
I mean,
developed
how
by
hard
Rockstar
could it be?
Vancouver.
Oh, I didn't realize it was the Vancouver division. I just don't understand why they can't figure out a place to put it, to bring the story or the character, or hell, start fresh. Do it like Vice. Do it like the Grand Theft Auto games used to be. It was always the same concept of game, but a different character. Tommy
I think that would
Visnetti,
actually work
CJ
better.
from San Andreas. Yeah,
Yeah.
do that. Like, you guys have the
Because
formula.
I think
You
trying
did this
to
for
age
years.
up, I think trying to age up Billy wouldn't really work, because then once you're an adult, you have to deal with like adult consequences with like the cops and whatnot.
So it's
But yeah,
gotta-
I think that's a good idea if you switch to a different protagonist altogether, and maybe even just a different setting.
right, a different
and
school,
then you have
different
the
setting.
Yeah,
Well, and
I think
that
that
I
could really
think
work.
I think you make a great point about the aging up, because if you were to age up, that character, I think his name was Jimmy, if I recall.
Jimmy,
If you were to age up Jimmy, you would essentially be playing a Grand Theft Auto game, like, because if you're doing,
Well,
stuff
sort
like
of, but
so
I
it kind
don't.
of keeps it from being that extreme of a game, and because that's one thing about
I think
Bully
part
is
of it
it's
is,
got the
though,
rule
because
breaker
of-
vibe, but
I think part of it is that Jimmy is not like a bad kid. You know how like
well,
GTA
yeah, that too.
protagonists a lot are like
It wouldn't make
hardened
sense for him
criminals
to
and stuff,
become,
yeah.
Tommy Vercetti. So fair
Yeah,
enough there.
Jimmy's more of like he's
Just
a
the punk, not,
yeah, he's a
not
punk
like
with
a
a heart of
criminal,
gold.
but he's the
Yeah.
punk, right?
Yeah,
he's
he's a
got a
punk
good
with a heart
heart.
of
He
gold, yeah.
stands up for the nerds and things like that.
yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that's also a good point. I don't think necessarily aging him up would mean you would go as far as to put it in a Grand Theft Auto game. But you're right; it would have the consequences of like doing things. Would have law consequences. You'd have to have cops and the whole that kind of system.
Right.
A similar system to GTA, maybe just watered down a bit, which doesn't really make sense. It makes sense to have it in that school setting because that's kind of how. Because Bully was Bully. You had a slingshot. You didn't have the weapons of GTA. Like, it was harmless things that
Closest thing you
would
had
have
was, like,
got
the
you in
bottle
trouble.
rockets.
Right, and it's things that would have got you in trouble as a kid, but it wouldn't have been things that obviously get you in real trouble as an adult as you would in GTA. So yeah, you're right. You really can't age up the character, but you could have just done the same way you did Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, San Andreas, 4, all the way to 5. It's the same concept, just different characters, different settings, even different time periods. You had the 80s, the 90s, more current modern day when it came to GTA 5.
That's actually
I don't know why they haven't done something like that.
That's actually one of the things that disappointed me about the Hogwarts Legacy game is that it doesn't. I wanted something more akin to like a Bully set in the Harry Potter universe, where you spend more of your time in the school, attending classes, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was the
But it
PS2
ended up
games,
just
right?
being-
Like that's the disappointing
kind
thing
of,
is-
but like I said earlier, Order of the Phoenix, which is the fifth one, like the fifth movie game, is kind of like that, but it's not like as big. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. If you could combine both concepts together, it'd be much better. But I
Yeah.
remember those Harry Potter games fondly. Not even a fan of the movies, just like the way that it kind of emulated being in the school. I thought that was better than what Hogwarts Legacy has done. Even if
Like
the
Hogwarts
combat
Legacy
is
is
fine,
nice,
and
but it doesn't really give you that feeling of being a student.
yeah, I felt the
Mhm.
pressure of being a student in Harry Potter. It's like, oh god, do stuff.
Well, even
Yeah.
in Bully, like, it made you go to classes, which I guess you did some of that in Hogwarts Legacy to learn.
You
new
do it
skills
like
and
once
things,
or
but
twice just to pick up that skill, and then
it doesn't feel
the
the same as like in Bully. You had to make the class. You had to make the class on
Mhm.
time. Like, it wasn't just like, hey, go talk to this professor whenever you feel like it. If you miss the class, you get repercut like that. That's something that I think differentiated the two.
Yep.
And I wanted to something I was talking about earlier, and I totally missed it. Nightmare Cast said he's also not a Hollow Knight fan, so yeah, shout out to you, Nightmare Cast, I should say.
Well, I'm not a Hollow Knight fan either, but I just don't like that style of game.
Yeah. So, all right. What about you, Nightmare?
All right, so this one might be a little bit of a surprise.
Spider-Man 2.
No, but you're on the right track.
Oh,
So my answer here is Batman Vengeance, and I do like this game.
What was this for?
This was a PS2 GameCube
Mhm.
era.
Okay.
Not sure if it was on Xbox, but I know it was on PS2. GameCube.
I this is another one where I think it was a cousin of mine had it as well. So I can't remember if I played it on PlayStation or on my Xbox. I really can't remember.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, this kind of goes along with the DC animated universe games I was talking about, where there's also a Superman one. But this one in particular, I mean, Kevin Conroy's in it. I think Mark Hamill's the Joker as well. So like it has a lot of the main cast. It's based on the redesign of Batman the Animated Series, so New Batman Adventures basically. But yeah, it's fun. It has good moments and everything, but I could never get through it. And I think the main problem I always had was those vehicle segments, because the vehicle segments are just unfairly difficult. So like driving the Batmobile, flying the Batwing, it's just such a pain, and I could never get through it. I think I did end up using like a cheat or something or the other to do like level select and then getting through like some of the other levels. But I've never considered this game fully completed because I've never been able to get through those vehicle levels.
Gotcha. Okay. Batman Vengeance. Yeah, that's probably one of those older ones that I don't think I even knew existed.
Yeah, I mean, it even had a cape glide, just like Batman Begins did. But yeah.
Let's see here.
It's amazing how sometimes just a bad portion of a game can just halt you right in your tracks on an otherwise good game.
Oh yeah.
So there was a GameCube, Game Boy Advance, and PS2 version of this game. The PS2 version has retro achievements, but the other two versions do not.
Is this
Interesting
the
the
one with the
GameCube version
burnout
doesn't.
mechanics in it?
No. That's Batman Begins.
Batman Begins is the one I need to play. Okay, yeah.
Because that's the
Got
one with Christian Bale, right? That's
Yeah.
the one based on the movie.
There was
in this-
one in that era. I was told I have to play it because of burnout.
Yeah, that's Batman. Batman Begins is the best non-Arkham Batman game. This one is before even that. This one's from like 2001, 2002, I think.
It's 2001.
Yep, there we go. So, yeah, it's worth giving a try sometime, and it's it's interesting. But it's the vehicle sections in this are terrible.
All right. A couple others that I wanted to mention, games that I enjoyed that I never beat. Another one, recent one was actually I played a ROM hack of Mega Man X, the Proto Man edition, which it's just the exact same as the original game, except you play as Proto Man, and he takes a lot more damage. And I couldn't beat the final form of Sigma because you take so much damage. I do want to go back and beat it, but I got this close to the end and didn't beat it just because it's really freaking hard when you take so much damage per hit. Another one that I never beat was Overcooked, because the way that the level unlock system in that game is really dumb in my opinion. The way it should be is if you beat a kitchen with at least 1 star, it should unlock the next one. But it has a star system where each level, progressively later level in the game, requires a certain number of stars to unlock, and I can't even get the last couple levels unlocked because you have to have nearly 3 stars in like every single kitchen in order to get to the end of the game, which I think is really dumb. So I wasn't able to finish it.
It's like a Mario system, pretty much. You need a certain amount of stars to open the next door and all stuff. Yeah, I get that.
So I do plan to go back and finish it off at some point, but I haven't done that yet. But that is a fun game. Shout out to Phil Fish. Fez, that was a really good puzzle game, but I never actually finished it. I do plan to go back and finish it, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. Another Mega Man ZX, which you would think would be one of my favorites because it's the Mega Man game and it's also a Metroidvania, although not many people call it a Metroidvania, but it totally fits. But the map in that game is so god awful. I could not figure out where I needed to go to finish the game. So gameplay is good. It just needs a far better map because the map system in that game is terrible.
They're pretty short games though. Like I feel like you could get through them. ZX is the only one I care about. Really, is Mega Man. So
I will, another one. I haven't beaten it, but I will go back and beat it, and then I will do ZX Advent as well. But I haven't done ZX Advent because I haven't beaten ZX yet. But I was never able to finish it. So when I do go back to it, I will start it over from the beginning because I think I played it in like 21, so it's been like 5 years. So, but that's another one that I liked it, but I was never beat it. Very similar thing with Metroid Prime Hunters, which is still right here in my DS. Metroid Prime Hunters right there. I was never able to beat it because I couldn't figure out where I needed to go to finish it. And that's another one that I will, because I will do it for retro achievements at some point. It's just there's no proper way to emulate it because just the controls in the game are not great, especially when doing emulating for retro achievements. But yeah, so, and then one other one, and probably my favorite one out of all these games, and I just haven't beaten it because it's so overwhelming, is Satisfactory. Twice I've completed 75% of the game, and I say that in air quotes because beating the game is completing phases 1 through 4. I've beaten phases 1, 2, and 3, and then I played it twice. And I've gotten to that point, and I'm like, I'm out. I'll come back to it later. I love this game. It's a great game, but phase 4 is, even though it's technically 75% because there's only 4 phases, the amount of time it takes to do phase 4 is probably 2 or 3 times longer than phases 1 through 3 combined. Because the last time I did it, it took me about 120 hours to get to phase 3, and just doing phase 4 will probably take like another 200 hours on top of that. So I was just like, that's too much of a commitment. I'll come back to it later. So I do plan to come back and beat it at some point because it is a great game and I absolutely love Satisfactory, but I still have not beaten it just because of how overwhelming phase 4 is. There's so much stuff that needs to get done. It's just very overwhelming, but I love that game a lot. So those are a few more games that I love that I have not beaten. So any others pop into your heads before we move on to the last topic?
No, nothing really here.
I mean, I there is actually, I suppose, the Superman game I mentioned, Shadow Apocalypse. I never finished that either, but you know,
Okay. And what was that on?
same as Batman Vengeance.
Same.
So,
Okay.
yep. And I guess
Oh.
some of the other like tie-in type of games, like I'm sure there were some SpongeBob games and so on that I didn't finish, but like can't think of them. Can't think of which ones offhand.
Okay. All right. So, and that will lead us into our final topic for tonight. And as always, the final topic is our favorite game of a specific year. And tonight we are talking about 2019. So I've been doing the last, probably this year, maybe I started last year, but I've been doing it a little bit different for this question in particular. We'll go around. We'll each tell what our number one favorite game is from 2019. And then after everyone's given their number one, we'll go around and just mention other games that we really enjoyed from 2019 So,
you're going to run out of this topic's not going to work in a couple party chats here.
Yeah, I've actually been thinking about that, what I'm going to do to replace this topic once we do catch up with the current year. So I have some ideas. But yeah, there's not a whole lot of time, I can keep using this question.
Yeah.
So, Nerd Takes, since you had a chance to prepare for this one, what is your favorite game from 2019?
So honestly, as I was looking at a list of all these games to 2019, I feel like, I don't know if I was in a wormhole or something, but I missed so many of these games. I kind of got caught up in a couple that I played a ton that year, and I think maybe just took all my attention. So those are the ones I fell on. One of them was the Call of Duty Modern Warfare, was when they kind of rebooted the Modern Warfare franchise.
Okay.
And that first version of it was a lot of fun, especially the multiplayer. So I played a ton of that year because it brought a lot of the old maps back before it became common practice for Call of Duty to just re-release old maps in every single game.
I played the campaign of that one, but I didn't play any of the multiplayer, but I haven't played any of the other ones since then.
Yeah, that was the last Call of Duty I honestly thoroughly enjoyed, was that kind of reboot of the Modern Warfare franchise, which I believe was 2019, if I don't have the year wrong. Another one, which was kind of a competitive online one, was Apex Legends.
So was Modern Warfare your favorite from 2019?
No, not my favorite. I got three here. That my third one will be the favorite. Those are just some of the other kind of runner-up choices.
Because that's what I was saying is the format I like to do for this one is we each give our number one favorite, and then we'll go around and talk about
Oh, sorry, I did it backwards. All right, I'll save that one then. So my number one favorite was actually Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I played a ton of that one. I'm big into Greek mythology. I'm kind of hit or miss with the Assassin's Creed games. I love the first two. 3 was okay, but it was kind of boring. 4, I think, is the best one. The pirate one, Black Flag, which I believe is getting a remaster or a remake this year.
I don't know if it's this year, but it has.
Yeah, I was going to say soon. Maybe not this year.
So it was announced this year.
That's you're right.
And yes, Modern Warfare reboot was 2019.
Okay. So that was my one that was probably my favorite game that I did play of that year.
I haven't gotten to Odyssey yet because I still need to do Origins. Last one I played through was Syndicate, so I need to do Origins and then Odyssey. I'm looking forward to playing both of those, and then I'll have to do Valhalla. That one is just another one where they keep getting bigger and bigger. It's like
they get bigger and they get they seem like they get more boring. The last one I played was 4, and I like the the historical part of 4, like the main part of 4. But I was always like a big fan of the modern day part of the story, and I really liked that with Desmond and 1 through 3 until they killed him off in 3, and I was really disappointed. But I think my favorite game overall in the series is probably Brotherhood.
So I actually missed what is it? Unity and Brotherhood, I think, came after 4?
Unity and Syndicate.
Unity and Syndicate. That's another one that I missed.
Brotherhood and Revelations were the two that came after Assassin's Creed 2 that also starred Ezio.
Oh, right. Okay, that makes sense. I get so confused with their timeline sometimes because
their titles are
confusing. But yeah, Syndicate was the last one before they rebooted into the RPG style.
Okay, right. Because I took a break
before that.
I basically took a break from 4 till picking it back up with Odyssey.
Okay. Another one that doesn't get a lot of love that I really enjoyed was Rogue. Rogue was I thought was really good. So, all right. We'll keep going around the horn here, mention our favorite, and then after that, we'll talk about others that we liked from 2019. So, Nightmare, what is your favorite game from 2019?
So I was kind of torn on this one because I kind of had to cheat for my favorite one. So my favorite just game that came out in 2019 was the Ace Attorney trilogy.
Fair enough.
But this one's kind of cheating because it's a remaster.
That's
So-
all right. It came out in if it came out in 2019, then it counts.
Yeah, because so I'll save the other one, which is more of a harder, a stricter answer.
Okay.
For, when we get to the second games, but yeah. So my favorite game that came out in 2019, and I think that's when I bought it and played it. The initial Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney trilogy, which is not even my favorite in the series, but I do love them. So
Okay,
I
I know
yeah.
we've talked about it on Open Mic. That your favorite is the spin-offs. I forget what they're called.
Yeah, sort of spin-off the Edgeworth trilogy. So starting
Yes.
the guy with the hair in the middle there.
Yeah,
and
the red jacket, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he's my favorite character, and he has these two fantastic games that finally, thank God, Capcom finally gave us a remaster with the localization that we never had, but we never even had the localization for his second game before. But we finally got it. It's on Steam, the Ace Attorney Investigations collection, I think they called it.
All right.
But yeah, so the Phoenix Wright trilogy is the 2019 answer.
And what was this released for?
What wasn't it released for? It's on
basically
Steam.
everything.
Yeah, so it was on Steam, which is how I got it. And then it's also multi-platform on, I think, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, all that. Okay. And there are also versions of this that are older on like 3DS, and I don't know if the 3DS version is the same, but there might be like a mobile port as well, and so on. But
all right.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I'll go ahead.
Oh, and the original, just really quick, the original versions of the games in the trilogy were on Game Boy Advance for the first game, and then Nintendo DS for the second and third.
Okay, I was thinking there was Game Boy Advance in there somewhere. So thanks for that clarification. So, all right. So for my favorite game of 2019, it's the first game in its franchise, and the sequel is coming out, I believe, this year. And it's taking a little bit of a different turn than I expected, but I am very much looking forward to it. But that is Control. I love this game a lot. I've only played it once, but I will be playing through it again because I played the Xbox One version. I have not played the Control Ultimate Edition yet, which is the Series X version. It's got better frame rate and resolution and stuff. So I'm looking forward to playing through that again before Control 2 or Control Resonant comes out. It looks like it's going to be different because Control is a third-person shooter, and Resonant looks more like a hack and slash game, which I'm also a big fan of. So
apparently, it's an action adventure RPG, which I'm excited for.
Yeah, so it looks like it's taking a bit different turn in the mechanics of the game. But I think I'm still going to like it regardless. So I'm very much looking forward to it. I think Resonant is in my top 5 most anticipated games for this year. But yeah, I loved Control, and that is my favorite Remedy game. Absolutely. So I was a big fan of Control, and I look forward to playing it again because I played it in 21, I want to say. So it's been a little while. So I'm hoping to get through that again this year. My plan is to get through it and finish it off like right before Resonant releases, so I can go right into Resonant, having fresh come off of the Control one. That's a fun game, and Control also could qualify as a Metroidvania, so it's got a lot of elements to it that I like. So, yeah, that is my favorite. And before we get on to our favorite other games that we liked, we have to hear what Kay's favorite game from 2019 was.
I haven't looked up all the games, so I'm sure I'm going to miss something. But you picked an interesting year for me because it predates Melee games. However, I was very video game heavy that year in particular, like 2018 to 2021 area. So please vet me if I'm wrong on this answer. I think I'm right. Devil May Cry 5, I think, was 2019.
Yeah, I think it was.
I believe so, yeah.
If so, that was very likely my favorite game that year.
Okay.
There's 3 games I thought of, and I think out of those 3, it would be Devil May Cry 5.
Devil May Cry 5, March of 2019.
Nice. Okay, yes. Yeah, I was playing a lot of modern releases that like particular year. It's a weird year that you happen to pick while I was on. So yeah, Devil May Cry 5, no brainer for me. I'm a huge Devil May Cry fan. Yeah, it doesn't have the same gothic feel as like the older Devil May Cries, which I still love and appreciate. But I love the energy to it. The music is great and addictive. The combat feels great still. It's just overall like a game I recommend to people. There are issues with it. I don't like how you can like microtransaction everything now, but I still really love that game.
Okay. Good pick. So, and earlier, dude says, Nightmare, you need to get on retro achievements because there's a lot of SpongeBob games that have retro
Well, I don't need
achievements.
retro achievements to play the games.
I know you're not big on the achievements like we are, but there are a lot of SpongeBob games with retro achievements.
Yeah,
So,
there were a ton of them, man. And THQ was pumping them out back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also,
so-
browsing these 2019 games, I'm realizing I should have had a better answer for the what's a game that you was it the game that you forced yourself to finish even though you didn't like it?
Oh,
That
okay.
answer should have been Divinity Original Sin 2 because that came out in 2019.
Okay.
And I think that is the game that turned me off of turn-based games entirely.
Oh, I didn't realize that was a turn-based game.
Yep.
Okay, but you saw it through to the end regardless.
Yeah, I pushed my way through to the end, and I was kind of disappointed. This was before they made the definitive edition, but still, I was just like, okay.
Okay. Well, an addendum to your future answer, or your previous answer, I should say.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. And dude said DMC 5, great game, bad scoring system, and boring environments.
I need to play the Devil May Cry game someday.
I do.
Yeah,
too.
same here. I've never played any.
It's hard to go back to the old ones. I warned James as well because he played a little bit of DMC1 offline, and I warned him going into him like, you will feel the jank of this for sure. But the actual environments and everything, I love it way more, like 1 through 3. I think if you want the most well-rounded experience, maybe Devil May Cry 4. I don't like the reboot at all, so I'm the wrong person to ask about that. But there are people who swear by the reboot. I don't think that the reboot honors the essence of what Devil May Cry is. But I will warn you, if you're jumping back to Devil May Cry 1, expect to be frustrated with it because it is very archaic to today's standards.
Well, I assume
but
you have to
I
play
like
them
the
all to get the
environment.
story, though, right?
Devil May Cry 5 has an actual cinematic that explains all you need to know. It actually walks you through the series to be like, this is what you need to know in like 5 minutes. Now jump in. So I will always swear by 1 and 3. I love those games. But I understand people who don't want to go back to them because that's why a lot of people hold the opinion that Bayonetta is better because through and through Bayonetta has been an improvement on the shoulders of Devil May Cry. So it's always
it's
felt
also
good.
way newer.
Right? Yeah. Whereas Devil May Cry was like I said, extremely archaic to today's standards, but the atmosphere, the weapons, the attitude, everything is so special. Like to me, that embodies what gaming should be about is those games. So
the series looks very like Platinum-esque, right? Like it looks like something Platinum might have made. So yeah, I think like when I was I don't know when the first game came out, but I know when I was a kid, I was interested in playing probably the first one. And then I found out for whatever reason, I think it was when I found out that your dad in the game is like missing or dead. Something about that just made me really sad because I was a little kid. Something about that just made me really sad. And then I was like, oh, I don't want to play that because I'm just going to be thinking about my dad the whole time.
Oh, look at that. Nightmare Cast likes the reboot the most.
Oh, boy.
Well, Nightmare Cast and Dude both love the reboot, to my knowledge. I am complete radical opposite. I don't think the characters are written at all the way that any like Devil May Cry should be written. But I get why people are attracted to it. They might like some elements to it. It's just
well, it's more of like a mass market Fortnite kid appeal, right?
And Fortnite's almost insulting it, but I don't know. It's a weird controversial topic to me because to me I just look at it as like this is a beloved series to me. This completely craps on the series that I love, so it could even be a good game, and I just hate it on the principle that it completely destroys the story and completely just doesn't embody what Devil May Cry was about. But you might be able to play that game and be like, oh well, I like the combat feel or whatever, and I'm like, well, the combat feel is totally good in Devil May Cry 5, which does follow more of the story, and Devil May Cry 4 feels great, and like I could work backwards that way. So I'm just like, no, I just on principle don't like Devil May Cry the reboot because it doesn't embody what the series is.
All right. Then what are some other games from 2019 that you did enjoy?
I can go first because I'm going off of memory and you guys are going to maybe know way more than I do. But the other two I competed with in my brain was the Resident Evil 2 remake. I think that's 2019. Okay. And Days Gone. Those were the two games that came to mind when you mentioned that year. So feel free to vet if either of those are wrong for
RE2
year. But
remake was 2019.
Okay, perfect. And then Days Gone, I think, was also 2019.
I'm pretty sure Days Gone was as well.
Yeah, Days Gone, incredible game for anyone who hasn't played it. Extremely good
2019.
narrative. I think it stands in the same category as like Red Dead Redemption 2. Like if you want to play something that is like super like good, evolves the actual format of what video games are, things that like Last of Us 2 and all this kind of stuff have tried to do the Last of Us 1, where they've tried to make it more realism, cinematic, everything. Days Gone does it right, in my opinion. So I think it's a really good bridge for people who are more into other mediums like movies and TV, who might want to explore into video games. I think it's excellent storytelling. It's very emotional. The gameplay feels great. Everything about it is just a really good, tight experience. And I really wish there was a sequel to it. Days Gone, I can't recommend it enough to people. I think it's excellent. So yeah,
Apparently, even from a
it's really good.
technical perspective, the game was really well made. Like there's
Yeah.
a guy I watch his stuff on YouTube sometimes, Threat Interactive, something like that. And he's always just like ripping into all these games that are made on like modern engines. And he really hates like TAA when it's used improperly. But I've seen him specifically praise Days Gone for the way it handled a lot of its graphics.
I have that. It was gifted to me on Steam, so I will be playing that at some point.
Yeah, that's actually one I've always wanted to play. So I will take that recommendation and finally actually play it, because I've never heard anything bad about it. I've only heard good things. So it's about time I finally give it a
It's
try.
got a bit of survival to it, and it's an open world game, right? So like if you stay on the path and you're all good, you're fine. But some people get like a little worn out by how like it can get a little more open. I think by
Fair enough.
today's standards, though, it's not as open as other open world games. Like other games give you way too much. It's a good balance. So you might get frustrated at some of the survival-y type mechanics, like if you crash your motorcycle or whatever it might be, getting that all fixed up and back together, stuff like little things like that. But overall, I can't praise it enough. It's really good.
All right. So Jay, what are some of the other 2019 games that you were a fan of?
Yeah, since I already kind of said a few of them, it's honestly only a couple on this list for me as I'm looking at it. I either just had a bit of a backlog year that year, or just spent too much time playing these few games that I picked out of 2019. But yeah, for me, the other two I'd mentioned would just be Modern Warfare reboot, as I said, and then as I was also saying, just Apex Legends. I don't love what that game is now, and it kind of very quickly became a game that I didn't really want to play anymore within about a year or so. But at first, I had a lot of fun playing Apex Legends. It was kind of a bit of a refreshing take on the battle royale genre, because at that point it was kind of just like PUBG and Fortnite were just kind of taking over, and was really all you had in terms of kind of, at least on consoles. I mean, didn't have PC at the time, so those are really the only two you had. And I thought the PUBG port to consoles was not very good. I didn't really care for it. So by the time that I was already sick of Fortnite, which Fortnite would have gotten big in like 2017, so we're talking 2 years later, I was kind of done with that already. So I wanted something that was battle royale, and this kind of 3-man team thing just kind of fit the mold of what I was looking for. So Apex Legends was a lot of fun at first, and I played it a lot that year, and then about the next year, I was just about done with it. And outside of that, yeah, I'm looking at this list. There's really not much that I played on this list. So I think I must have either filled the rest of my time with backlog games, or I just was, movies or TV or something else was taking up my entertainment, because I did not play a lot on this 2019 list.
Okay. So like when you played it is irrelevant as long as it came out in 2019. So you got to play the last week.
Yeah. Well, I'm even looking at them now. I'm like, yeah, a lot of these titles, like I've never touched, never played, nothing.
Okay.
So yeah, this was kind of a weird year for me in terms of gaming. There was a couple that I picked out that I played the crap out of, and then the rest I just never really touched.
Yeah, there was I don't remember what year it was. I want to say it was 2003 when we did 2003. Carl had a ton of things because I guess there was a bunch of like JRPGs or something that came out that year. Because I don't do JRPGs.
Huge year between 2002 to 2007. There's a lot, but 2002 to 2004 alone is crazy. Yeah,
I want to say it was 2003, and I had like there was like 2 games that came out that year that I enjoyed, so I had almost nothing to pick from for that year. So I totally get it.
I missed one important one because now I'm actually looking at a list.
Oh, all right, go for it.
Luigi's Mansion 3, excellent game, and definitely needs to be recommended from that year. But yeah, now I'm actually looking at a list. I'm like, I missed this and this, but Luigi's Mansion 3 is the big one, and the one you can make fun of me for and pretend that I liked. Fire Emblem Three Houses also came out that year. Fun fact.
So, all right. And Number, what were some other 2019 games that you enjoyed?
So for me, 2019 is a year I was looking through it and I didn't see a whole lot of games that I was really all that interested in. So I guess that must have been a year where I was mostly just playing older stuff.
Okay.
The only other game that I can really remember that came out in 2019 that I liked to any degree was Code Vein, which it is a Souls-like, but it's not the worst kind of Souls-like. And at the very least, it comes with, like the cute blonde girl on the cover there. She's one of the sidekicks you can get in the game. So I appreciated that. And it's a nice game. What's funny is Code Vein is set in the same universe as God Eater.
Interesting.
Yeah, and the God Eater series is something that I actually should be more interested in, but somehow I've never played it because God Eater is more like action adventure kind of thing as opposed to Souls-like.
I'm thinking of a different game. So I've heard of God Eater, but I don't know anything about it. I was thinking of a different game with God in the title.
Yeah, no. So I should try God Eater at some point.
Okay. All right. Well, a couple other games from 2019 that I was a big fan of. Another one, I just recently replayed this a couple weeks ago and then followed it up with this playing its sequel for the first time. Plague Tale Innocence was 2019, and that was a really good game, and I enjoyed that both times playing it. Another game that I mentioned earlier today on games that I hated that I pushed through, but that was the DLC for this game. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night was 2019, and it took me a while to latch onto it, but once I understood it, I really enjoyed it, and I have another version of it to play again because the Windows version also has Xbox achievements, so I'll be playing through it again. I just am not looking forward to playing that DLC again because that DLC was one of the worst. But the base game is really good, and I am actually looking forward to playing through the base game again. That was a good game. And it has a sequel coming. I don't know if it's coming this year, but it does have a sequel coming out sometime in the near future. Guacamelee 2, another Metroidvania that came out in 2019. I prefer the first one, but they were both quite enjoyable and bright and colorful. Mexican luchador inspired Metroidvania with lots of Easter eggs towards other Metroidvanias. A lot of fun and comedy in those games. Another one that gets a lot of hate, but I think it was way overly hated. Crackdown 3 had a lot of fun with that. And then another Metroidvania that was also pretty good. A lot of people have it in like their top fives. I don't have it in my top five, but it was enjoyable. I played through it twice. Was The Messenger, and I will say that I was very disappointed when I found out that the sequel to it, Sea of Stars, was not anything like the Messenger, and it was a turn-based JRPG.
I thought you were saying Sea of Stars was 2019 for a second. I was like, how did I miss that? But that was later, wasn't it?
No, Sea of Stars came out later, but The Messenger came out in 2019. They just take place in the same universe, but they are very different games. So,
okay, so Kay has just alerted me to something incredibly important. It turns out that I missed the game that I'm literally playing now, or like not now, but the game I've been playing. Yeah. Astral Chain literally came out in 2019, and somehow I missed that.
Oh, okay.
So that should have been my answer right there. Is Astral Chain, because that
Astral Chain's your favorite 2019 game?
As of right now, yeah.
Okay. Another addendum to your previous answer.
Yeah.
You didn't have a whole lot of time to prepare, so
I was scarfing down 2 burritos while I was.
I didn't want to steal your thunder on that. I was like, I'll message him and tell him it came out in 2019.
Nice save. And then there was yet another really good Metroidvania that came out in 2019. But this one, it was interesting because I played it on someone's recommendation for a couple hours and I did not enjoy it. And then I put it on the back burner and came back to it 2 or 3 years later. I think I played through it in 2022. And when I gave it a second try, I really enjoyed it. And that was Blasphemous. I had a lot of fun with Blasphemous. So that's another one where I played the first one. I've not played the second one yet. I do have it, and I'm looking forward to playing it, but it's just another one of the games on the massive backlog. So a lot of good Metroidvanias came out in 2019. So, on last thing before we wrap it up here, I have an addendum to the first topic we talked about. There was another thing I was going to mention. I have it written down and I didn't mention it because I thought someone else was going to mention it. That guy down there, and I'm kind of surprised he didn't. Other books, the original Halo books. I want to throw those in as great video game adaptations. Those were really good. So.
I thought that was going to be your answer when you were leading up to it, and then you said Mass Effect, and I was like, they have books? I honestly thought Halo was going to be your answer.
That would have been my number 2, and I wrote it down. I just forgot to mention it. The Halo books, shout out, because those are great video game adaptations. Hi, James.
Hi, if you're going to be back there.
Hi, James.
Oh, hello! My name's Pikachu! I love you! Hello, Neo and Nightmare! Nerd Takes, hello!
I always wondered what Pikachu sounded like when he wasn't on the show.
Hey, fuck you!
Yeah.
What the hell? You said fuck you, Kate, when I muted. What the hell?
I hope you're feeling better, James, but you can't hear me because you got headphones on.
I'll pass it along. I'm going to be over on that couch in like 20 minutes here anyway, so.
All right, just keep an eye on James's Steam gifts, by the way, once we wrap up here.
Okay.
So yeah, that was the other thing I forgot to mention was the Halo. Those first 3 Halo books are really great. So, I pulled up my YouTube feed over here, and I completely didn't realize that today is March 10th, which is Mario Day. So I should have had a Mario themed question on today's party chat, and I didn't even realize it till just now. So,
what's your favorite Mario game? They're easy.
Favorite Mario game or favorite game that Mario has been in?
Yeah, just get people to watch that
about.
top 5, and then I'll get mad about it again.
That was our second episode of top 5 was not favorite Mario game, but favorite game that Mario was in. And one of the games on Jason's list was Metal Gear Solid because there's a Mario figurine in it.
Only one who came with all Mario games. The rest of them is Neo, Jason, James, all of them just trolling the entire time. I'm like, no, there's a lot of good Mario.
That was our second. That was March 7th, 2024. So not a huge fan of Mario to begin with. So I had a very small list of games to pick from. But that was our second episode of Top 5. So if you're interested in hearing our favorite Mario games, go check out that Top 5. It's in the Top 5 playlist right at the beginning. So
is that when me and Jason get into a huge debate too? I think it
about
is, right?
Smash Bros?
Yeah.
Yes, that was that one.
Good.
So, all right. Well, with that, we'll go ahead and go around the horn here and let everyone say goodnight here. So, Nerd Takes, great having you on Party Chat again. It's been too long since we've chatted. So thanks for coming on. I will drop the link to everyone's channels is in the stream description, but I'll be dropping them in chat yet again as we say our goodbyes. So Nerd Takes, what do you got going on, if anything, over on your channel that you want to shout out?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me. Kay and Nightmare, appreciate you guys filling in so we could keep the show going tonight. It was always obviously a lot of fun having this chat.
Yeah, it was fun hanging out with you, man. I'm glad I got to join and hang out with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Likewise. In terms of my channel,
for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. In terms of my channel, honestly, I've got nothing in particular. I've been on a little bit of a break just to kind of unplug from the internet for a little bit. So it's been just some shorts have been out on my channel the past month or so. I'm getting back into doing some videos, a few ideas kicking around, but nothing quite materializing into a video just yet. So just, if you're interested, keep an eye out on the channel. Something should come out soon.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on and talk video games again. Always great chatting with you.
Absolutely.
So, Nightmare, what do you got going on that you want to let us know about?
Yeah. So, for the next week or two, I will still be maintaining my usual stream schedule of Thursday afternoons, 4 p.m. Eastern time. This week, we will be discussing Big Brother 1984 Internet ID, quote unquote, age verification coming to America and the conspiracy theories behind that.
Yay.
Yep.
I can't wait.
So I'll be explaining what's probably actually going on. A lot of that. And then, going forward by the time April rolls around, there will probably be some hiatus on my streams as I figure some stuff out. And yeah, you and I need to catch up on that, Neo. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for me. Just, this Thursday, 4 p.m. as usual.
All right. Well, thank you for dropping in last minute to be a substitute co-host. I appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime, man. I love hanging out for these.
So, all right. And Kay, what do you guys got going on? I would raid you guys, but you have to be monetized on YouTube in order to raid, which is freaking retarded.
You can
But,
raid
don't
through
worry
Rumble
about
at
it,
least.
You're not,
I
not
didn't know
required to
that.
rate us or anything.
Yeah. So once we're done here, go over to the Melee stream and watch James yell at Pokopia.
He stole my game from me. I was supposed to stream Pokopia tonight, and then I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go."
Well,
make
okay,
sure
now
Neo has a
you
show
now you just
still.
have to play Legends ZA instead.
That's true. Yeah, or rip the controller out of his hands in 5 minutes if you guys want to watch that. I am Melee K, one half of Melee Games. The other half of Melee Games, Melee James, is currently live on our channel right now with Pokemon Pokopia, the game that I've been enjoying. But we are doing a little bit of a Mario Day celebration as well, so we might play some Galaxy 2 in a bit, stuff like that. Other than that, I do want to give one more shout out. So this Friday is Jeremy Wormy, if you guys are familiar with him. Ballbusters, the final episode of that show. I don't know if he's going to come back with another version or what. I don't want to speak on his behalf, but he's still streaming and everything. But Ballbusters itself is on its finale on Friday. So James and I are going to be there because I'm not missing the last show. So come
Did you
check
ever
that
catch
out.
up
If
on
any,
all your shots that you owed?
I don't know. If you guys want me to drink on Friday, I will. But I'm
In lieu
sure
of shots,
there's
she
like
can
a
play an
million-
extra hour of Tales of the Shire.
No.
Oh yes, I like that.
Hey, that's no, because there's Oreos. I don't know, whatever. Dermy had his weird system, and he's like, "You're squared up." But if you guys want me to drink on Friday, I will. But yeah. So we're live right now. You guys can come hang out with us, talk some Nintendo stuff. But I do recommend checking out Dermy Wormy's channel on Friday. It's gonna be the finale of Ballbusters. Come hang out. We're gonna have some fun, talk about some current news, and just do stupid stuff for a couple hours on a Friday night. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. Otherwise, please follow the gentlemen on this stream as well. They're all really great. I had a great conversation with all of you, and I love geeking out about games. And I'm sorry, Neo, that we went way overtime to what you're used to. I
Oh
apologize.
no, I don't have a dedicated time for this show. It's kind of however long it goes.
Did we really?
Okay, I felt like we just kind of all ranted because we were so excited to talk about the topics.
It
but,
felt like how it usually goes whenever I'm on Neo stream, but I don't know. Maybe Neo streams just run longer whenever I'm around.
Yeah,
Maybe,
and
I don't know.
I feel like I'm the same. I also can never stop talking, so it's probably very much partially my fault as well.
we are
I'm
all
good
that
to go
because
as
anytime
long
I'm
as
on,
the as long as the guests want to go, I'm good. So I don't have a set.
I guess
time limit.
we're all like that because yeah, I definitely run shows over time as well. I have to be like, okay, I'm shutting up now. But thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun to talk about gaming stuff. And until next
Thanks
time.
for hopping in last minute. Also as a substitute co-host, I appreciate it. So, So all
Also,
right.
in Neo's honor, I am drinking some Baja Blast right now.
Oh, you enjoy it. But every time I see a voltage, though, I think of you.
Nice.
So, as for myself, I won't be doing anything here on my channel tomorrow. I am doing something, but I don't know what yet. Carl and I are doing something. I don't know if we're doing live or pre-recorded or whatnot. But the next thing on my channel will be Thursday night. We're doing another open mic. This is going to be a little bit different. And this is a Mass Effect special. So getting a bunch of Mass Effect fans on, and we're just gonna glaze Mass Effect for a few hours. I wanted to do it last week because last week was the anniversary of Mass Effect 3's release. It turned 14, but I was out of town, so we're doing it this week, and we're just gonna be talking about all things Mass Effect for a few hours on Thursday night's open mic. It's gonna be a group open mic, which I haven't done. I think this is only the second group open mic I've done. So, but it'll be a lot of fun. If you like Mass Effect, come listen to us talk about Mass Effect, everything we like, and maybe things that we don't like. I don't really have a plan. It's just kind of, as open mic is, we're just kind of go where the conversation takes us. But it'll be a lot of fun to talk about Mass Effect. So, but yeah, so that will be it for tonight. Party chat. I will be back on Monday with some more Metroidvania Monday. I will be continuing mini shoot adventures, and then we're doing our next top 5 next Tuesday. We're doing top 5 Wii games. So, and that'll be good because our last top 5 got canceled, and because of me being out of town, our last top 5 was in January. So it's been a little while. So looking forward to getting back to doing a top 5. And I need to talk to Jason because he was saying that we might have to change the schedule, but we haven't talked much lately. So hopefully we'll be able to keep it on the same schedule, but we shall see. So, But yeah, with that, everyone go over to Melee Games on the YouTube side. I can raid on Rumble, but I think Dude's the only one over on Rumble.
Neo, you could, if you want to, you can post a link to their stream in YouTube chat. At least.
That is a thank you. I did not even think about that.
Don't feel pressure.
Right
It's
here.
okay. It's all good. We're not like you have to do this or something. Don't worry.
Well, I did it over on my side, so it's like, you know.
I think most of
you
us
for doing that.
will probably end up over at that stream anyways.
Aw,
Yeah.
thank
So
you,
there's
guys.
the link in the stream or in the chat. So thank you everyone for hanging out with us as we yammer on about video games. Thank you everyone on the panel. Had a great time chatting with you guys as always. So everyone have a great night. We will talk to you later. And as always, in the meantime, game on.